Welcome to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso and you're live in S3. It's Thursday morning. It's almost weekend, baby. So get back under the covers, okay? I know you were about to go to work. You're going to be a very, very diligent employee. But why today when you can relax with us? Come on now. We are focusing on our neighbors today. You know they say love thy neighbor. Unfortunately, not all of them are lovable. And that's why we need to discuss. It's good, it's bad, the experiences, we need to unpack all of that. And have you had a run-in with your neighbor? That's the big question. Perhaps they are hosting a loud party way into the early hours of the morning. And you know, you don't mind the loud music, but if the music you don't listen to, it's going to be a trouble thing. So obviously you're going to want to, kind of report back on that to the police or something like that. There's got to be some recourse over there. So let's vent, be entertained by these experiences and find solutions at the same time. We have property lawyer Ariva Watson, who's joining us to give us some legal understanding of those unruly neighbors and how to find peace in your home again. Namaste. So it's all about neighbors today, so make sure you contribute 063-408-8863. We'd love to hear from you as we get into my favorite neighbor, who is Ewan.
Oh, look at you, looking so dapper, Mr. Wasty. Thank you very much. And good morning to you, Mzansi. It's wonderful to spend this Thursday morning with you. We really do hope that you are well, but we are gearing up for an epic show this morning and lots of conversations. This is what we want to know from you on social media this morning. Like Carl said, we're talking about our neighbors. Yes, it's not always easy to love thy neighbor. We know this, especially when they are loud, noisy, or just simply annoying. So we want to know from you, what are your stories? Do you have a story to share about your crazy neighbors? Connect with us on social media, share those voice notes on 063-408-8863, and we could be running through some of your responses a little bit later on in the show as well. I know that there's a lot of stories out there. Fortunately, I know I'm blessed with really good neighbors on either side of my house, so it's amazing, but I'm going to revel in your stories this morning. It's going to be a real feel-good Thursday morning. Let's start it off with the first round of your news headlines. Yes, Carl.
Thanks a lot, neighbor. Let's take a look at your news. Starting nationally, the South African government and organized business have agreed to cooperate in a partnership in speedily removing obstacles that hamper economic growth and job creation. It will focus on key areas of intervention, including energy, transport, and logistics, as well as crime and corruption. The initiative is a collaborative effort between business and government stemming from the success of the COVID-19 response. Spokesperson in the presidency, Vincent Mangwanya, said the initiative would make much difference in rebuilding the economy and setting it on a path of sustained and inclusive growth. Meanwhile, President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to visit Hammanskraal, north of Pretoria, today following the cholera outbreak that has claimed more than 20 lives. The president's visit will begin with a stopover at the Rooiwal wastewater treatment plant before going to Hammanskraal. He will interact with the community of Hammanskraal on measures the government is implementing amid the outbreak. Meanwhile, Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu yesterday described the cholera outbreak as a cause for great concern. Now on to international news. Kenya's Interior Minister says the government is to convert the Shakahola forest, where more than 250 members of a Christian cult died, into a national memorial site. Kithure Kindiki said the place would be turned into a place of remembrance so that people were never forgotten and they'll never forget what happened there. Now, Kindiki said the government had sufficient evidence to prosecute the leader of the cult and main suspect, Pastor Paul Mackenzie, for genocide. Most of the victims, including children, died of starvation, but some were strangled, beaten, and suffocated, autopsy reports showed. Now, thousands of people in the southern and southeastern parts of Ukraine do not have access to drinking water after the Kachovka Dam in the Kherson region was blown up yesterday. The president of the Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, says that Russia's attack on the region's largest water source is an act of terrorism that has deprived people of critical infrastructure and is placing their health at risk. Russia, in turn, blamed Ukraine for the attack. The government in Ukraine says its main priority now is to provide people with safe drinking water. And 60 learners from Zwelathembe High School near Worcester in the Boerland will attend an international robotics competition in Massachusetts, America. This hardly a year after their maths teacher, Kurekwashe Takawira, established a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM club at the school. The Galactic Einsteins, as they're known, have won numerous competitions to be nominated for the prestigious honor to represent South Africa. Things are sure buzzing, bleeping, and whirring at the Zwelathembe High School. Its STEM club's tech wizards are focused, fine-tuning their robotics and raring to go at this particular time. So all the best to them. Make South Africa proud. That's it for the news for now. Another update in 1 hour. Let's take a peek at the sport. Here's Ewan.
Thank you so much, Carl. Let's run you through those sporting headlines very quickly. Starting off with soccer news, Cape Town Spurs made it 3 from 3 in the PSL promotion playoffs following their 1-0 victory against Keswick Stars. Mornay Nels scored the lone goal 7 minutes after Spurs were brought down to 10 men when Ashley Cupido was shown a dubious red card. Now, the Mother City outfit have now played 3 playoff matches, winning each fixture with a 1-0 scoreline, putting Sean Bartlett's side on 9 points ahead of Maritzburg, who are on 3 points. The team of choice have 2 games left and will need to win both to have a chance of retaining their status. Sticking with soccer news, Lionel Messi confirmed he will be moving to Inter Miami in what is said to be the biggest transfer in the history of MLS. Following weeks of speculation and links with Barcelona and clubs in Saudi Arabia, the World Cup winner will now play in the United States. "I'm not coming back to Barca, I am going to Inter Miami," said Messi in a press conference on Wednesday. "I wanted to return to Barca, but not to leave my future in the hands of someone else." Then over to cricket news. Travis Head hit a sparkling century to put Australia in a dominant position against India on day 1 of the World Test Championship final at the Oval. Now, Head, who ended on 146 not out, shared an unbroken stand of 251 with Steve Smith, who looked an ominous touch for his unbeaten 95. Now, the 4th wicket pair took Australia to 327 for 3 at the close. India, beaten in the first Test Championship final 2 years ago, opted to bowl first on a green pitch under grey sky and reduced Australia to 76 for 3. And with tennis news this morning, Alexander Zverev made an emotional return to the French Open semi-finals 1 year after a horror ankle injury sent his career into a tailspin, as Iga Swiatek set up a last 4 clash with the Brazilian trailblazer Beatriz Haddad-Maia. Zverev claimed a 6-4, 3-6, 6-3, 6-4 win over Thomas Martin Etcheverry and will play Casper Ruud in the last 4 after he beat Holger Rune in 4 sets. Now, defending champion Swiatek brushed aside 19-year-old Coco Gauff 6-4, 6-2 in a rematch of last year's final and will play Haddad-Maia in the semis after she beat Ons Jabeur with 3-6, 7-6 and 6-1. That's a quick roundup of your sports for the 6 o'clock bulletin. We'll have another one just after 7 o'clock.
And now for your weather news. Now, residents in the Western Cape can expect the cold, windy and wet weather to persist until tomorrow, with the South African Weather Service issuing a level 1 warning for disruptive rain, resulting in localized flooding expected over the Stellenbosch, Drakenstein as well as Witzenberg areas. A series of cold fronts started to move into the province from yesterday, and the yellow level 2 warning for wind and waves resulting in difficulty in navigation at sea between Cape Columbine and Cape Agulhas also still persists. So do be safe out there, especially in the Western Cape areas. We take a look at your temperatures across South Africa. Let's start off with Polokwane, 9 rising to 27 degrees Celsius today. So a nice warm day for you. Bombela looking very summery. 15 is the low to 33 degrees Celsius. Pretoria goes back to a chill, 10 to 24. Johannesburg, 9 to 22. And let's head on over to Mahikeng, also feeding the north of South Africa summer, 27 degrees Celsius, believe it or not. Klerksdorp, 4 to 27 for you. Kimberley, you start at just 1. Now we get back to Chile. And of course, you go up to 20. And then Bloemfontein dropping us back into winter. -2 is the minimum to a maximum of 21 degrees Celsius. Over to Richards Bay, 15 to a summery 29 today. Pietermaritzburg, 10 to 26. Durban, 16 to 25. And Mthatha, 4 rising to 25 degrees Celsius. On to Emonti, East London. Good morning to you. 14 to 23. Cradock, 4 to 19. Gqeberha, you've got 12 to 22 today. And George, 12 rising to 21 degrees Celsius. You've got a chance of rain, around a 58% chance. Cape Town, you are raining today, a 75% chance, but it is indeed raining already, 12 to 17. Worcester, rain for you, 10 to 16. Sutherland, very chilly today, 5 rising to just 9 degrees Celsius. And Uppington, 4 up to 20 degrees Celsius. Those are the temperatures, but no matter how cold or warm, a sunrise view always puts a smile on your face. And let's start with Malcolm in Durban, sharing his view of peachy tones lightening up the beautiful morning sky over the Durban harbour. Absolutely beautiful. Esetle from GQ sending in this one, an image of the clear skies over Isitle's area. Looks fantastic. And then Priscilla from Mossel Bay sharing this gorgeous view while on a morning walk. And what a stunning image. Look at those colors. And then Fozia Tobias sending in this one of the sun on the rise all the way in GQ, of course, firing some orange tones over the area. And look at that. It looks like the start of The Lion King, to be fair, but that's gorgeous. So, 063-408-8863. We'd love to see how you wake up this morning, as long as you wake up with us on S3. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
That is exactly it. Thank you very much, Carl. Listen, we're going to be taking our very first break of the morning, and I hope you're still very cozy under your covers with a cup of love in your hand. We're going to be sparking some serious conversations. It's all about those neighbors, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Stick around for those conversations just after the break. We'll be back.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso here in S3, and today we're discussing a topic that many of us can relate to, dealing with bad neighbors. Dun, dun, dun. Now, we all know how crucial it is to have good relationships with those we live nearby to. I mean, of course, if we kick the ball over the wall, you have to have a report to go and ask for it back, unless their dog eats it or they stab it. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's an personal experience, but it's like that. That's why we brought in a panel who have a story or two to tell, maybe 5. And we have Reva Watson, property lawyer and director of Watson Attorneys. We need a legal angle. Plus, we've got an incredible panel of people who are willing to share some accounts and spill that tea on neighbors, which I'm excited about. So this is how it goes. So first and foremost, welcome panel. This is a nice big panel today. Hey?
You're welcome. You're
this
welcome.
Is just, this is great. Hi, Reva.
Hi.
Hi. So, I mean, you're our legal voice here, because, I mean, I feel like we're going to vent today. So we're going to need to understand the recourse with you. But let's just go to anybody. I was told I need to address you as Queen Minnie.
Yes.
Sorry, Queen Minnie.
Yes, darling.
What makes a bad neighbor to you?
So a bad neighbor for me is someone who's highly inconsiderate.
Yes.
It's someone who's selfish.
Yeah.
And someone who's not understanding of the fact that we're not billionaires yet, so we don't have haters. We have people around us.
Okay, that's fun. And then just a little one here. I'm not gonna. I could call you Queen Carissa.
You absolutely can.
Okay,
I'm very
Queen Carissa,
okay
sorry.
with that.
So, are there some very, very obvious social no-nos when it comes to neighborly behavior? Anything that comes to mind is like maybe the top of the list.
Yeah, noise. That's
Noise,
to me
really?
the most important thing, honestly.
What if
like,
they're playing the songs that you like?
you know what? Then I won't mind. It depends on the time of day.
Okay, cool.
Let's
Okay.
go with that. But
Okay.
I think for me, noise is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like whatever you do outside of that is
Yeah.
your personal business. But if I'm trying to sleep and you're trying to party on a
Yeah.
Tuesday evening, there's no need. There's literally no excuse that you can justify that kind of behavior. So I would say noise is number one on my list.
Okay, noise. Riva, permission to approach a bench?
Proceed.
Thank you so much. Just wanted to find out, all right, are there actual sort of, pinpoint sort of behaviors, things that neighbors do that are actually legal issues? Because I know that sometimes they're just annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there's got to be some way to pinpoint, like, this is going to be a legal thing. And just from the top of your mind, what are some of the things that are quite common, I suppose, in South African neighborhoods?
Well, with everybody living so close to each other these days, especially Cape Town, everybody's on top of each other.
That's correct.
People have a right to the use and enjoyment of their property. So
Yes.
if I want to listen to my jams at a really high level,
allowed.
I'm allowed to, but I've also then got to consider the rights of somebody to live in peace and quiet.
Okay.
So it's always a weighing up of each person, wherever you're living, you've got a right to use and enjoyment, but it shouldn't infringe so much on somebody else's right as to make their life unmanageable.
I got you. So when you say infringe, are we talking about times of the noise as well, right?
Times, well, I mean, there's what would a reasonable person
Yeah.
do? Not a reasonable person who is sensitive to noise and wants their tranquility in the middle of a city. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's what would the reasonable person do? If it is 2 a.m. and the noise is blaring, that's not reasonable. But if it's at like 8 o'clock on a Friday, it's like, surely there's going to be a bit of leeway. But as it gets later, it gets more and more unreasonable.
Well, let's get more experiences so we can find out if there are indeed legal issues. I'm going to go to the back of the panel over there. I'm sorry. I know that it's not your season.
But it's not at all. But it's fine. I bring the sunshine.
Yes, you
here.
do.
Yes, I do.
So tell me, because I feel like it would be so easy to live next door to you, right? It would be so, because I mean, you're that type of neighbor, aren't
I
you?
am.
But now, share an experience on your side that you believe could possibly constitute a legal issue.
Oh, wowzers. So, Carl, it was funny because I live next to an Airbnb,
Oh.
right? So I've got this thing where you've got temporary neighbors. They're not constant.
Yes.
So everybody's different, right? But we have these situations where you have these owners renting out these apartments
Yeah.
for extended period of time. So these neighbors become used to you. And then you get to the point where they're playing their music at 3 o'clock in the morning and you have to go to work the next day because they're on holiday.
Yeah.
And so there's this thing where
Joining.
you have to understand, like, they're on holiday, they're having a good time, but also there are boundaries because you're in a residential area.
I got
so
you.
then you sort of have to navigate. However, ek is sy auntie. Ek sal kom en hello, sorry darling man, but not rude. You just politely.
That's called passive aggression.
Yeah, you know, it's also called colored auntie. Just in it. Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Hello. I'm so sorry, but I have to go to work the next day. Would you be so kind to turn your music down? And then if you don't, I'll just call the police. But I won't do that now.
You're a nice
Not right
auntie.
now. Not right now.
Right.
Not right now.
Zoe, a quick anecdote from your side, from a neighbor that an experience?
Well, I've loved and hated neighbours. I've dated neighbours. I've been completely against it.
Dated neighbors.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't suggest it. But I think a big experience was when I was in university and in res, and something
Yes.
happened where people were putting oil crosses on doors of non-Christian students and like queer students. So that was a bit of like that's too close to home, and you're taking your own will in regard of people's lives. But yeah, that was a bit messed up.
Wow.
Yeah, no, so it's been...
I honestly thought that auntie was the limit now. But
Yeah, no.
Your
So
crosses.
like,
Goodness. All right, so I actually want to... I'll get back to the Airbnb story with Riva a little later, because, I mean, I'd love to know the responsibility with regard to that person's sort of disturbance. But we've got a panel here. We've got an expert with legal advice. If you need some legal advice, something's happening with you, 063-408-8863. We'd love to chat to you about the bad neighbours. As we get onto the other neighbour, you in here in the kitchen, we've got something special for you.
Some spicy conversations this morning for sure. Look, if you have a problematic neighbor, just make them a good breakfast. And this is what we're going to be trying to tempting this morning right now, because on Thursdays we love to experiment with trending recipes found on TikTok. And we found another foodie hack that we just had to try for ourselves, making a poached egg while using boiling water and a chopstick. Let's quickly have a look.
Into the egg without broth. Look at that! Look at this.
Okay. Now we are going to pour this.
Okay, so that is the hack. And some of it worked, some of it not so well, like that last one. But we're going to be trying it out for ourselves this morning and see if we can make each other a lekker breakfast, because we are good neighbors.
We are indeed.
Yeah, so we have all the utensils, a nice little bowl.
These are very nice.
Fresh egg.
Okay.
And a chopstick, and the boiling water is chilling on that side.
It's going. So what we need to do, we need to
let's
crack the
crack
egg
the egg first.
Okay. And that goes in the middle there.
Okay, I want to really see this come together. Okay, you're going to go first.
Am I?
Go for it.
Okay. Oh, I'm nervous now, man, because I need to just try.
So in the middle.
Okay, in the middle of this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be crazy. And then I'm going to try and pour this in here.
Yes. You got to try and get the water to run down the chopstick. Steady hands, bud. Steady hands.
Okay. See, there's a little lid thing here.
It makes it very difficult.
Yes, exactly.
Well, work around it, bud.
Okay, I have to work around. Don't do work around. There we go. Work around.
You're missing it completely. Yeah.
I mean, there's something here.
I think you're just filling up the bowl, dude.
Yeah. So there we go. That's it. Okay, give it a shot. Watch the little...
okay, wait. I want to give it a bit of a
little bit
refresher.
more. Okay, there we
A
go.
refresher. Just for a couple of seconds. Like
there
10, 9, 8,
I mean,
7, 6, 5.
This could work a little bit. I mean, it's not perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a go. All right, pass me that.
Ready? Tell me when you're ready.
Oh gosh.
Okay, now it's proper boiling.
Okay, give it here.
Good luck. Okay, watch your hands there. Got it?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna use some grip
Please
strength.
don't scold yourself. Okay. You got this, brother. Are you filling the yolk up now? Oh, there goes the yolk. Oh.
How do you like these eggs?
But no, you're actually filling the yolk sack with the hot water.
I just tried a different kind of strategy.
Internal poach, man. This is great.
I'm sorry. Who came up with this?
Well, this is why we're testing it, because it's got to be like...
You know what?
A success.
There we go.
Or a hot mess.
Egg soup.
Whoa!
Egg soup.
Dude. Sure.
And then we're just gonna stir it around a little bit.
There we go. Okay.
Nicole, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Where's Nicole?
Yes, we're doing this because apparently it's fascinating. Look at that. I like your egg soup.
I do like my egg soup as well.
Okay.
So we're doing this because I thought it was way too good to be true.
Well, clearly.
And we love testing you guys. So
Okay.
this is exactly why we do the experimenting for our viewers. So they don't waste their time.
Thank you very much,
Okay, thank
Nicole.
you.
Appreciate that. So I'm just gonna...
Why are you still... But that is a... Okay. Well, this looks like it could have gone somewhere. Like this one over here. That's obviously... Like, that's just very, very watery scrambled eggs. It's
Can I have a straw?
Egg-flavored water.
I would love a straw. This is definitely not a success. We're going to go with an absolute hot mess. But this look at the color.
Yes, that looks amazing. That looks fantastic, yeah. Definitely. So let us know if you have any other kitchen hacks you'd like us to try. Excuse me. Let us know on our social media pages. We'll give it a shot. I mean, all we can do is try, right? And if you do a little success, it might be good for you. Hot mess, then don't do it. You don't waste your time. Let us be be the ones to waste our own time.
I made some egg custard.
Yep.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso on S3. And if you're a good neighbor, I love you. If you're a bad neighbor, you wouldn't know that you're a bad neighbor unless somebody called the cops on you. You're like, why are you calling the cops on me? I'm just living my life. Well, we are continuing our conversation with our panel and just discussing some of the legal aspects. And this is why we do have Reva Watson, who's here to make sure that we are on course. But first, we spill tea. That's the most important thing, all right? Let's spill together. So, panel, let's go to Queen Minnie.
Yes, hello.
I want to go around the room here with our panel of experts here. Queen Minnie, talk to me. Has there ever been a circumstance in which you'd had to call the cops on a neighbor?
There has, actually. So I'm here for 5 months, and yes, from KZN.
Oh,
so
welcome.
Thank you. My neighbor has a business going on that requires a lot of customers. I won't mention the business. But
Okay.
yes.
We're not going to go there.
Yes. So normally we'd have visitors because I live in a 5-bedroom apartment, which is very huge, but yeah. So we'd have visitors, and we have like public parking on the streets.
Yes.
And so our visitors would park anywhere, you know, rightfully so. But now, to him, we were parking on the parkings for his clients. But then he didn't address the issue. It's just that he decided to damage the tires of the car, and the guy that was actually visiting at that time was from Limpopo. With his car. He had driven from there. So he damaged the tires, left a note on the windscreen, and...
Strongly worded, probably.
Yeah, like, it was like, whoa, that was drastic. And then, luckily, one of the neighbors saw him do that. So we just didn't even want to entertain anything. We called the cops, you know.
Okay, well, that's, I mean, I suppose that's good. We'll hear from Reva in a moment, though. Chris, anything from your side where you had
As
to
one
call?
of my earrings just fell off,
That's the perfect... Not a reason to call the cops, but okay.
Yeah, for sure. So it actually happened quite recently where it was probably also like 2, 3 a.m. on the weekend. Obviously, people had gone out. Not that it's an excuse, but it was getting a bit rowdy, but in the space of like, is that bordering on man on woman abuse, you know what I mean? So we called the cops just in case, because you never really know when somebody might actually need help. And the cops actually came. I was like, oh, okay, good on them.
Well done.
They showed up. I was like, praise be.
Also kind of sad that we are South Africans and we are surprised that the cops came. I'm like, that's a bit tough,
I know. And they came, they intervened.
Yeah.
They were like, you know, I'll show you what it's like to hit a man, and broke through.
No.
It was very dramatic. We were just like, I'm a backup. And yeah, she was like, thank you for coming. And she left the next day. So we intervened, thankfully, at the right time.
Okay, this is so. Let's go to the back of the panel here, Summer and Zoe, for a second, though. You know how when a neighbour interrupts your daily life and what you believe is your natural life that and things that you sort of have a right to do. Summer, from your side, has a neighbour ever intervened in that sort of thing?
Look, our parking situation is what
there we go.
a real situation.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where we've had our neighbours bring
Yes.
over guests, like you said, but they don't respect the fact that they've got one designated parking, or maybe two, or you can park behind one another. Either way, you choose how you want to use your parking. However, when you've got an attitude when I approach you, I'm a little bit like, not today. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things where I need to get in, I need to get out of my house, I need to be able to reverse in peace.
Yes.
I really don't want to reverse. I want to reverse in peace when I do. I want to be able to actually get into my parking. So it's one of those things where you have to approach them, and let me tell you, they will have a mouthful for you.
Of course.
They will know. I've actually been told a lot of things by just asking people like, hi, sorry, can you ask your guest to park outside? And they'll be like, so, I'm sorry, are you paying for me to live here?
Come on.
Are you paying for me to live here? They will park wherever I tell them to park. And I was just, so then,
that's
you see,
aggression.
so that's fine. That's when I
That's
just stop
aggression.
praying. You lay hands and you're like, it's fine, have a lovely, blessed day, blessed day.
So we had to call the body.
Okay, you got a lot of work here, Reva, coming up though. Zoe, and you said body corp.
So yeah, we had to call the body corp on one of our neighbors because there was a shared pool area and they were letting their dogs poo, and like it wasn't just like pooing, but there was a felt off on the other side that they could have gone to, and the dog had diarrhea, and they were just going around the pool area.
Wow!
It was the same neighbors who brought their own plastic chairs to the pool, even though they had like assigned chairs.
Wow,
They wrote their number on the chairs. You couldn't sit on their chairs. It was very interesting.
Wow.
Reva, we have a dynamic array for you, from cars to diarrhea. Now, tell me, from a legal aspect, is there a proper pathway to get something sorted out? Just in terms of, so you're safe in your own and not actually getting rowdy and sort of getting yourself into trouble, but give us the legal way to actually get something sorted out, especially if something persists, because you can call the police once, twice, 3 times, but if it doesn't stop, then what do you do?
Okay, so we touched on calling police, contacting the body corporate, etc.
Yes.
There's different layers of, depending on what kind of noise it is, there's different layers of rights to recourse. So if you're in a body corporate or a homeowners association, you would report it to the homeowners association or the managing agents and get them to assist you. If that doesn't work, then you go on to the next level, which is available to everybody, is your bylaws. Depending on where you live, the national legislation has allowed various municipalities to create bylaws that apply to that particular area. And then that's where you find out the times and what the decibel noise is and how noisy people can be and when it is more or less reasonable or unreasonable. And then so that again, as soon as somebody is now infringing on your right, you're not happy, you've confronted them, they still continue to do it, you'll then confront them, I would say, in writing, so there's a record of the confrontation. Always put everything in writing.
Yes.
Try verbally, write to them so that there's a record of it. They don't have to read it, they can tear it up, but you've got a record that you've handed it to them. And then if that's still a problem, then you go and you report to, well, if it's a noise disturbance, there are different types of noises. A noise disturbance, you'd probably not write to them saying, please, can you turn your music down? It's 3 a.m. You would call the police. If it's a noise nuisance and it's an ongoing thing, persistent dogs and tire slashing and that's a noise nuisance, that you would then report to your local authorities. There are hotlines, etc. You can Google it, and you report that to the local authorities. They then do a full investigation on what this nuisance is, and is it really a nuisance? Is it finable? Can the person get you can get fined or put in prison. There's legislation that allows that, but whether you actually get to that point, you'll probably have to go through loads of litigation.
Wowza. Well, we've traversed a number of different topics here, slashing tires, people parking in the wrong places, diarrhea, as well as Reva, who has given us an incredible sort of legal standing as well, to our panel queen, Minnie and Carissa and Zoe and Summer. Thank you so much for joining us here today. But of course, Bad Neighbours continues. This chat, 0634088863. Any comments, please let us know.
Thank you very much, Cole. Lots of emotions, that's for sure. Heated debates this morning and discussion. So let's take a breath and have a cup of coffee and a nice little rusk. Cole, get in here, my brother. Let's enjoy a little rusk.
Thank you, man. Scooch over here.
You know who I wish was my neighbor?
Who?
My Ouma.
Oh, man.
I would love to have my Ouma as a neighbor. I think that'd be very.
You're making me emotional, man. I don't have Oumas
because
left, man.
The Oumas are so special, and
yes,
you know
they
what?
are.
At the start of the week, courtesy of Ouma Rusks, we asked you to nominate your Ouma or any Ouma that you know, for that matter, as the Expresso Ouma of the Week, and we want to appreciate these very special women in our lives and give them the recognition they deserve. And we received so many nominations, Carl. It was beautiful, and this one really brought a tear to my eye, tugged at my heartstrings. Nikita van Jaarsveld wrote, and this is what she said. She said, my Ouma passed away 5 years ago. She is still very much missed up until this day. She filled a room with so much love. She was an example of purity, kindness, and love in abundance. You would instantly feel the warmth when you walk into a house. And she was Ouma to everyone. It doesn't matter if you are meeting her for the very first time. She was everyone's Ouma, but she was my alles.
Shoo. Hey.
Jene, ek dink op daai noot moet ons nou 'n lekker beskuitjie gryp.
Okay, oh, there we go.
So, you know what, I want to say to Nikita, thank you. This so very special. Thank you very much for taking the time and nominating your Ouma, and thank you for sharing that, with us as well. So we're very, very honored to be crowning your Ouma, Kathy, as our official Ouma of the week.
Absolutely.
Well,
if you are still blessed to have your Ouma or Opa in your life, then I feel like you should just give them a call today. After hearing this, and let them know how much they mean to you, or even better, go visit them with a box of Ouma rusks, and I promise you they'll love it. It's the sentiment behind it, but also these are delicious. So.
They are delicious. Oh, man, that is lovely. Well, there we have it. Now, please, we want you to also nominate your Ouma for Ouma of the Week. If you're still blessed to have your Ouma, you can enjoy a box of Ouma rusks with your Ouma. Come on.
With the krummels.
Special. With the krummels and everything. And I say, meneer Morsie. Jy sien daar Morsie. Thank you very much, Nikita. That was super, super special. That's good, huh?
There is more in every dip with Ouma Rusks.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oeg, mense, baie welkom terug. You're tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on S3, and it is confessions time around bad neighbors, the blaring speaker, dogs barking non-stop, and screaming kids. Now, these are just some of the answers that we got when we asked you, our viewers, to anonymously confess what your neighbors do to annoy you, and what do you do to annoy them? We are here with Sebastian, Carissa, and Minnie, and hey, this has been some heated topics. We gotta love our neighbors, right? We gotta love our neighbors. Really, man. You know, start a good relationship from the get-go, and then you have that freedom of communication, I believe. But anyways, I mean, it's not always that easy, and like I rightly said, confessions, and we asked people on social media, and there's a couple. So how's this one? The first confession that we got, it said, my neighbor warned me of my husband's infidelity.
Oh. You think people don't know what you knew?
There's always a set of eyes.
Wow.
And where there's smoke, there's fire.
Absolutely.
Hey, but how is this if your neighbor comes over to you and say to you, listen, I've seen some stuff. How do you kind of deal with that? How do you feel about that?
I mean, do you say mind your business?
Yeah,
Or do you
exactly.
actually investigate what's
Like, what do you
happening?
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
first let me break it down and
Yeah.
then see if it's worthy of my time and effort.
But you're right, that first response is like, listen, it's got nothing to do with
Nothing
you.
to do with you.
And
What
then you're
stays in the house stays in the house.
And then you're going to go home and you're going to like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
The
what
rat
just
comes
happened?
out.
Another one here. My neighbor helped the guy who stayed in our house before us build a fire pit, only to find out his wife was making her own fire with the same guy.
What is with the infidelity? What is happening?
It happens.
People are bored.
Yeah.
Naughty.
I'm just saying.
Hey?
this
And
is
all this
thing-
over a fire pit.
Yeah.
It's cold, man.
I get it,
Winter,
yeah. It's like cozy fire.
Happy
Then,
season.
yeah, let's scooch a little closer.
They always say when somebody's guilty of something, they accuse the other or they find it in somebody else.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. My goodness, I mean, this is crazy. Another one we got. The problem with my neighbor is food. Now, when we have a braai, she sends a child around with a dish to have some meat. It's like it's a norm. We just give her without asking. But she is a good person. Her problem is food.
Buttercuts. Oh my God.
I love this for her.
Yeah.
My goodness.
But I love this for her.
Yeah.
She's an opportunist.
Absolutely.
She takes the opportunity with
Yeah.
both hands.
Yeah.
She's
Do you know what it is, though? You know when somebody's braaiing and that smell just gets... It's like those cartoons with the steam just like coming into
You
your
have
nose.
the neighbors just floating over to your place.
Floating over to you. You have to have some.
And
I mean, it's
cost of living.
neighborly.
The
Cost of living, we need to save.
I get it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Your neighbors will just come around for a friendly cup of coffee. Oh, you're Brian, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh,
let me
this
just
is
stick
lekker.
around.
Yeah, let me just stick around. Grijp het choppie. The next one we had, she has 60 cats. Seriously.
No.
She has 60 cats. When it rains, the neighborhood smells like cat weed. I have to close my windows. It's so bad. They literally roam the sidewalk in gangs, like 7 deep.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my...
That's your
Okay.
neighborhood.
No, that's
Wow,
just my
60.
thing.
You know, yeah, 2, 3, 4
I'm
maybe.
not a cat person.
60, that's like you need
Illegal,
your
no?
own area now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Are you
Thank
running a shelter here for cats?
Saying, what's happening now?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is it
farm.
even legal to have that
I
many
don't
cats on a
think so.
property?
Partner with SPC and get your own place, darling.
Exactly.
Come
Also,
on
how
now.
much are you earning to take care of 60 cats?
That's a lot.
That's why the neighborhood smells.
Yeah, there we go. One more confession here. By revving the nuts off his sports motorbike at all hours and for apparently no good reason. Plus, he'll go out for it for about 15-minute intervals and then come back repeatedly throughout the day. Maybe he's a mechanic.
In my complex, we've got this guy.
Yeah.
We have
Your
got this
confession.
guy. No, it's not. But we've got this guy. Just like randomly, and it's like, and I'm just like, go already.
Like how?
Just like,
Do it again.
What is that?
What is that sound?
You killed it. We call them vrpas.
Vrpas.
Golf sevens.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to know when they've bought a Golf 7. It's vrpa all the way. It's like, darling.
Yeah, making popcorn all along the street.
I mean, why?
I know. And you know what? Especially if they have to go to work early. And you going there, your alarm is only going to go off in an hour and a half.
Oh, that is your alarm.
welcome to today.
Yes. Good morning.
Might as well get up, get a cup of coffee, and just take a breath. Thank you very much, guys. Listen, so much to talk about your neighbours. If you have any stories to share, please connect with us on social media. 0634088863. That is our number as well. You share.
Now, once upon a time, there was a guy on Expresso telling you about story time. You can visit Cadbury Generosity Storytime Studio with loved ones to read a homegrown story, where your voice will be added to the homegrown audio library online. Corniel recently visited Sandton City Shopping Centre to give a voice to Storytime, and she lived happily ever after.
Over the past 3 years, Cadbury, with the help from you, South Africa, have generously curated the Cadbury Homegrown Library with 1,500 new children's stories in all 11 official South African languages. They are now inviting the public to invest in a more meaningful connection with their families through creating a story time tradition using stories from the Homegrown Library. We're in Sandton City Shopping Centre to celebrate the launch of the Cadbury Generously Give a Voice to Storytime initiative. What a beautiful setup you have here, and also so wholesome. Why was it important for Cadbury to create a storytime space like this for children and parents to experience?
So a recent study shows that 75% of South African parents feel that their busy lives get in the way of spending quality time with their children. Story time is a really powerful tool for parents to be able to create stronger bonds with their children, but also to foster imagination and creativity, right? And often the stories that stay with us are the ones that influence our choices and our beliefs.
I see a lot of mommies and daddies and guardians are all gathered here today. What are you asking the public to do with this initiative?
So we're asking our nation of storytellers to visit one of our Cadbury Storytime studios and generously give their voice to a story, and their voice could feature on our digital library.
Sarika, first of all, this space is absolutely amazing. Talk to us about the layout and some of the different sections that people can enjoy and experience.
What we really wanted to do was centered all around generosity, starting with inspiring generosity, so people get to do this in this incredible library that we've created, where we show them the product of one of their narrated voices against our homegrown stories. They get to select a book with a homegrown story in any of the 11 official languages, and then they go into the recording booth, and that's where we get to activate generosity. And activating generosity is all around donating your voice to one of these beautiful homegrown stories. We're really giving families an experience that they would not ordinarily have.
Where's the Cadbury Generosity Storytime Studio going to next?
So we're taking it across the 4 major cities in the country, so starting right here in Sandton City. The next destination is actually Gateway in Durban. Our next destination is going to be Cape Town, where we're going to be at Tiger Valley before it comes back to Gauteng, and we'll be stationed in Pretoria at Menlyn Mall for another week.
My experience of the activation today was nothing short of amazing. Her granny is moving into a nursing home, and Gugu has come with to help her. We are also inspired by what Cadbury is trying to achieve with this initiative, which is encouraging a closer bond and a closer relationship with children through sharing stories. So seeing parents with their cute little ones walking in and out of the booths, adding a voice to the homegrown library was beautiful to witness. Shakana, you have generously given a voice to Storytime by narrating some of the stories from the Homegrown Library. What about being a part of this initiative excites you the most?
I think it's the mixing of audio and storybooks. Audio is my world. Having a happy marriage, new school meets old school, so I love it.
How did Storytime play out for you growing up, and why do you think it remains one of the most important aspects of connection and family time?
Storytime was my favorite. My dad used to take my brother, my sister, and me to the library. My library card was the coolest thing I owned. I learned so much about escapism and creating all these imaginary worlds from reading books, and I ended up doing that in my life, making up all these stories and songs. So I think Storytime has always been a big deal for me. So I'm happy to continue it in my adulthood forever.
Rorisang, you have contributed to the Cadbury Homegrown Library by narrating a story in Sesotho. What about being a part of this initiative excites you the most?
I love it. I love it because I was there from the beginning when we were asking South Africa to give us a word, and we took these words and turned them into stories. And now these stories are here, and it's story time. And now we're encouraging people to put their voice. I speak in Sesotho the whole time, but reading in Sesotho, so bringing out that inner child, man, was also quite a good feeling.
I'm so excited to be sharing and narrating these stories for Storytime because it's going to have such a reach. So many children hearing amazing stories and starting that imagination, that amazing adventures. So for me, it was a pleasure.
I am very excited to start narrating these stories for Olethu because it will give her a variety of different stories to learn and also take her into different worlds.
How was it?
Fun!
It's your turn to generously give a voice to Storytime with the Cadbury Homegrown Audio Library. It's very simple. Just grab your favorite Cadbury dairy milk, nabantu bathandayo, your loved ones, and visit cadbury.co.za to select a story in your home language to get started. Or you can visit a Cadbury Generosity Storytime studio near you to add your voice for others to enjoy. Visit cadbury.co.za for all the details and follow the conversation using the hashtag Cadbury Give a Voice.
That's so cool. I love this. I love this.
You know, proudly South African voices to stories. I mean, that's what you want to hear. I mean, all over your TV is always like, and once upon a time, there was a guy there, but now you get a story that's authentically, you know, sort of South African, which is great.
You know what? You should go do that.
What's that?
Because I would like you to read me a story.
I'd love to read you a story, you know?
Very, very
Once
cool.
upon a time, there was a boy named Ewan, and he was about to enjoy Corniel, who is our amazing artist on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
How does he sound? How does he sound?
Corniel sounds, birds flying high. He sang. Ewan said, yes, I can't wait to interview him. And they lived happily ever after.
Oh, we did indeed. And we're going to show you why after the break. Stick around.
Now you can generously give a voice to Storytime. Visit our library of homegrown audio stories at cadbury.co.za.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso, in case you don't know. My name is Carl Wasty, and I'm telling you now, there's somebody who's sitting right next to me that you need to meet. His name is Corniel Miller. Can you remember that? Diarizer. Put it in your phone now. A highly well-acclaimed artist born and bred in the City of Roses, Bloemfontein. And most might know him as the talented man from The Voice South Africa Season 3. Yes, that person that opened his mouth and suddenly you're like, what just happened? It happened. And he'll be chatting about his musical journey as well as performing some of his favorite jams, including a song called Hartsepunt. And here to be your Hartsepunt is Corniel Miller. Welcome, man.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
No, it's good because I think that if you watch that reality TV show, you'd know as soon as you opened your mouth, people were like, what? What just happened? And I think that's the most amazing thing. Turns out you've got a good history of music. I mean, all the way back in the day, 8 years old, you started things out. So what was it about music that made it stick? I mean, we try so many things when we're young, but why music? Why singing?
I think it's something that is just intuitively a part of me. It's something that I can't get out of me and that I can't move away from. It's just there, and I need to utilize it and use it.
Okay, so that's 8 years old. Let's fast forward to 17. You start taking it seriously. I mean, it's such a difficult industry, the South African music industry.
Extremely.
So how did you manage as a 17-year-old to say, I'm going to take this seriously, you know, school, done and dusted, let's do this properly?
I think it's very hard work and it's a lot of dedication on a daily basis. It's not even a thing that it's like a sport. I mean, if you're athletic, then if you're in athletics and you're a swimmer, you need to exercise on a daily basis. It's exactly the same with music. You have to practice and do your thing.
So, you know, when you're growing up, you're exposed to certain music genres, and that kind of educates your voice. But what got you your voice? I'm not talking about the reality TV show now, but everybody needs to find what they are authentically connecting to. So how was that journey for you?
Finding my voice.
Yeah.
Was a very interesting journey because I was always singing in choirs and groups, and I sang solos on little Eisteddfods and the Free State and so on. But I never thought of myself as a soloist or you know, as a singer. So what happened is I worked in my uncle's butchery.
Oh, you see, this is the stories we love.
Yes, okay. I know. That's why I'm going to tell it.
Okay, please.
So I worked in the butchery at the end of grade 11.
Yeah.
And I used to work over school holidays, and I heard this song on the radio, and I, for the life of me, can't remember what the song's name was. And I had this carcass on my shoulder because we had to break the lambs. I'm sorry for all the...
No, it's okay.
Anyway, so I walked into the fridge and started singing the song, and I'm like, guys, there's something here. And I went back to school in January of the next year, and I'm like, to one of my teachers, who's still a very good friend of mine, I said, listen, I want to sing, can you help me? She's like, but you're singing. You sing in choirs. Yes, but I want to sing. And she's like, okay, let's go to the piano, I'll help you. And it started.
What a story.
Yeah.
From a carcass over the shoulder to the piano. Like, that's the type of rise that I want to see in a story with regards to you and your music, Corniel. So we're looking forward to hearing you perform a little bit later. There's a special song by the name of Anthem coming up, and this man will meet you on stage a little later on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. But for now, let's connect with the news. Ewan is standing by.
Stick around for that performance. It's going to be absolutely epic. It is just a minute before 7 o'clock. Let's get into a round of your news headlines. Starting off with your national news, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says Eskom will not be granted a partial exemption from disclosing irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure and material losses from criminal conduct in its annual financial statements. Godongwana says the Eskom board needs to do more operationally to reduce the scope of fraud and corruption before such an exemption can be considered and for it to be effective. He said that Treasury recognised the need to support and strengthen Eskom and other SOEs in reversing the effects of state capture. And the SA government and organised business have agreed to cooperate in a partnership to speedily remove obstacles that hamper economic growth and job creation. It will focus on key areas of intervention, including energy, transport and logistics, as well as crime and corruption. The initiative is a collaborative effort between a business and a government stemming from the success of the COVID-19 response. Spokesperson in the presidency, Vincent Magwanya, said the initiative would make much difference in rebuilding the economy and setting it on a path of sustained and inclusive growth. Over to international news headlines this morning. Tens of millions of people in North America have woken to dangerous air quality levels as intense wildfires rage across Canada. Smoke blanketed large areas of Ontario and Quebec, and Toronto and New York ranked among the metro areas with the worst air quality in the world overnight. An orange haze shrouded the Statue of Liberty in New York. Zoos in New York and Toronto have closed, and high-risk animals have been brought inside. In the New York Zoo, there's a huge concern for a 3-week-old gorilla baby because of the unhealthy air. And Kenya's Interior Minister says the government is to convert the Shakahola forest, where more than 250 members of a Christian cult died, into a national memorial site. Kithure Kindiki said the place would be turned into a place of remembrance so that people can never forget what happened there. Kindiki said the government had sufficient evidence to prosecute the leader of the cult and main suspect, Pastor Paul Mackenzie, for genocide. Most of the victims, including children, died of starvation, but some were strangled, beaten, or suffocated, autopsy reports showed. And we're going to end up with this news, amazing news from South America. The first case of a crocodile making herself pregnant has been identified at a zoo in Costa Rica. She produced a fetus 99.9% genetically identical to herself. So-called virgin birth has been found in species of birds, fish, and other reptiles, but never before in crocodiles. Scientists are now saying dinosaurs may also have been capable of self-reproduction. They stated in Biology Letters, a Royal Society journal, and I quote, "This offers tantalizing insights into the possible reproductive capabilities of extinct relatives of crocodiles, notably the dinosaurs." Fascinating news indeed. And that's a wrap for your news headlines for the 7 o'clock bulletin. Let's quickly get another round of your sports with Carl.
Thanks a lot, Ewan. Let's take a look at the sporting action and good news for Cape Town football fans. Cape Town Spurs made it 3 from 3 in the PSL promotion playoffs following their 1-0 victory against Kazakh Stars. Mornay now scored the lone goal 7 minutes after the Spurs were brought down to 10 men when Ashley Cupido was shown a dubious red card. The Mother City outfit have now played 3 playoff matches, winning each fixture with a 1-0 scoreline, putting Sean Bartlett's side on 9 points ahead of Maritzburg, who are on 3 points. The team of choice have 2 games left and will need to win both to have a chance at retaining their status. Now staying with football, but this time abroad, Lionel Messi confirmed he will be moving to Inter Miami in what is said to be the the biggest transfer in the history of MLS, following weeks of speculation and links with Barcelona and clubs in Saudi Arabia. The World Cup winner will now play in the United States. "I'm not coming back to Barca, I'm going to Inter Miami," said Messi in a press conference Wednesday. He also added, "I wanted to return to Barca, but not leave my future in the hands of someone else." On to cricket. Travis Head hit a sparkling century to put Australia in a dominant position against India on day 1 of the World Test Championship final at the Oval. Now Head, who ended on 146 not out, shared an unbroken stand of 251 with Steve Smith, who looked in ominous touch for his unbeaten 95. The 4th wicket pair took Australia to 327 for 3 at the close. India, beaten in the first Test Championship final 2 years ago, opted to bowl first on a green pitch under grey skies and reduced Australia to 76 for the loss of 3. On to the tennis world. Alexander Zverev made an emotional return to the French Open semi-finals 1 year after a horror ankle injury sent his career into a tailspin, as Iga Swiatek set up a last-4 clash with Brazilian trailblazer Beatriz Haddad-Maia. Zverev claimed a 6-4, 3-6, 6-3 and 6-4 win over Thomas Martin Echeverry and will play Casper Ruud in the last 4 after he beat Holger Rune in 4 sets. Defending champion Swiatek brushed aside 19-year-old Coco Gauff 6-4, 6-2 in a rematch of last year's final and will play Haddad-Maia in the semis after she beat Ons Jabeur 3-6, 7-6 and 6-1. That's it for your sporting action on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. I've got another update for you in 1 hour, but let's get onto those roads. If you are still heading to work, this is what's ahead of you.
Thank you so much, Carl. There's quite a bit of traffic to get through. Starting off in Pinetown in KZN, there's been an accident on the M7 westbound heading towards Pinetown before the N3 ramp. The left lane is obstructed, so please do drive with caution in the area. Then in Durban, there's ongoing roadworks taking place on the N2 southbound after the ramp from Queen Nandi and Mgeni Road interchange. The lane width is reduced to allow for more travel time this morning, and please drive carefully. Then in Germiston, a multi-vehicle accident took place on the N3 northbound before Galuli's interchange. The left shoulder is closed. There's slow-moving traffic in the area. Please use an alternative route if you can to avoid any delays. Then in Cape Town, there's some congestion taking place on the N7 South to the N1 inbound ramp. You can expect delays and allow for more travel time, especially down in Cape Town in the spell. It's very, very wet. Please be safe on the roads this morning. Before we get into your weather temperatures, firstly, Knysna yesterday commemorated the fires that sowed a path of destruction in June 2017. 7 people died in the fires and more than 1,000 houses were destroyed. Members of the Knysna Fire Brigade, municipal officials and the community attended a memorial service held in town. The Knysna municipality says the fires are a reminder of unity and resilience in a diverse community. Now, meanwhile, the South African Weather Service has issued a warning that extremely high fire danger conditions are expected over the Fezile Derby district and Nkwana municipality of the Free State, as well as Mkasi Hill, Twayeng, Matlosana and Tlokwe municipalities of the Northwest province today. Now let's get into your temperatures. We're starting off with Paula Kwane this morning, and a minimum of 9 degrees, so warming up to 27. Mbombela starting off on 15 degrees, reaching a very hot 33 degrees later on today. Pretoria 10, 24. Johannesburg on 9, a minimum reaching a high of 22 degrees. Then Mahikeng starting off on 5 degrees minimum, nice and cold this morning, but warming up to 27 degrees later on. Klerksdorp 4 degrees minimum, also a maximum of 27. Kimberley very cold this morning on 1 degree minimum, reaching a maximum of 20 degrees. Over in Bloemfontein, you can expect a minimum of 2 degrees and a maximum of 21. Richards Bay this morning starting off on 15 degrees minimum and a warm maximum of 29 degrees. Pietermaritzburg on 10 minimum and a mild maximum of 26 degrees. Durban 16, 25. Mthatha starting off on a very cool 4 degrees minimum, warming up to a mild maximum of 25 degrees. East London 14, 23. Cradock on 4 degrees minimum with a maximum of 19 degrees. Gqeberha on 12 and your maximum 22. George 12, 21. Cape Town 12 and a high of 17 degrees. Worcester on 10 minimum, your maximum 16 degrees. Sutherland on the cool side of the scale, that's for sure, starting off on a 5 degree minimum, warming up to a maximum of only 9 degrees. And Uppington also cold this morning with 4 degrees, but reaching a warmer 20 degrees maximum a little bit later on today. That's your temperatures. Let's quickly take a look at those beautiful sunrise views of yours. We're going to start off with Eunice from Rand Park Ridge. Good morning, Eunice. Thank you very much sharing his amazing tranquil place. His garden with the pillowy clouds cascaded across the sky. And just look at that. Beautiful. I must come and get you to do my garden. It looks stunning, absolutely stunning. Jenny Bowman from GQ shared her vibrant image of the sun lighting up the morning sky. Also absolutely beautiful. What a sunrise. Geraldine, good morning to you as well from the Drakensberg. I mean, look at that magnificent image of the Drakensberg Mountains and the clear sky. Simply amazing, absolutely amazing. And Moses Reddy, good morning. Moses from Durban shared his view of the sun breaking through the cloudy morning sky. Also a fantastic way to wake up. We really do live in one of the most beautiful places on earth. Thank you very much for sharing your pictures. Please continue to do so. If you see a beautiful sunrise, snap a pic and share it with us. You can do so on our WhatsApp line 063 408 8863. That's a wrap for your weather.
Sunrise views to put a smile on your face, and it looks like interesting weather all over South Africa, but in studio, the weather is consistent. We have talent over here in the form of Corniel Miller, and the song is a very, very special track that you need to hear. It's called Anthem, and it's for your enjoyment here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Take it away, Corniel.
Conquer my country's heart, they rise to fame. She's eternal, long before nations' lines were drawn. where no flags flew, where no army stood, my land was born. And you ask me why I love her. Through war's death and despair, she is the constant. It's we who don't care. And you wonder would I leave her, but
Okay, I feel like we can play the game now. That's what I feel like. Let's go and play out there, guys. Let's go win the game. Gee whiz, it's not often that a singer makes you feel taller, but it happened today. Wow, Corniel Miller, absolutely incredible. If you want more upliftment, then I feel like you should stick around your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We got oodles of it, so stay there. It's S3.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on S3. We continue our discussion around neighbours. Yes. Now, but first, a Homeowners Association, that is what we're focusing on next, is a non-profit organisation that oversees the upkeep of a neighbourhood's common areas and establishes general rules and standards for the community. Now, the intention is to protect community assets and establish a code of conduct for owners and residents while instituting proper and sound financial management practices. Now, this morning, here to chat more about the ins and the outs of dealing with the HOAs is Director at Timus Commercial Legal Advisors, Amy Farish, as well as Reba Watson, Property Lawyer and Director of Watson Attorneys. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome back. So much to talk about. We've had interesting discussions around, experiences with neighbours, but if you own or rent in a specific community, you want to feel that you are protected, that somebody has your back, and that's where the Homeowners Association comes into play. What are the benefits? Let's start there of having an HOA.
So I think naturally one of the benefits of firstly living in an estate is the security of it. So having a big fence around the estate, having security guards, access control, all of that, and that's all run and managed by the HOA. So the HOA will also manage things like gardening and maintenance of common areas like the roads and making sure that people abide by speed restrictions and that sort of thing. So there's definitely benefits with the amount of regulation that goes into the Homeowners Association. And also if you're living outside of an estate, there's always neighbour disputes. Here you actually have someone that you can pass the buck to and has to deal with the complaints going forward.
Yeah.
So I definitely say those
so it's
are
not
benefits.
only Homeowners Association, not only for particularly estates like you've mentioned, it's those areas. Like for instance, I live in a crescent, and I know that it's got a larger, for the area, it's got a Homeowners Association and that you can go to, but this also complies with the building that you're doing. If you want to add something to your house or anything like that, that is what you have to contact them first, right?
Yeah, basically they put in all your rules and regulations on how everybody in that area is going to operate. So basically, if you're buying into a property in a homeowners association, you're agreeing that you're going to live in that community, you're agreeing to live by those rules.
Yeah.
Which generally you're given to read beforehand.
Yeah, and as a potential homeowner or something renting there, it's in your best interest to understand exactly what is set out in those lists of rules as well. What happens if homeowners fail to comply with the rules set out by HOA? What can happen?
Yes, so generally it always starts with a notice. So you're not going to be slapped with a fine right off the bat. So there'll be an engagement, they'll ask the homeowner for their representations, and then if the homeowner doesn't comply or still doesn't comply after you've given them a notice, then you see more stringent penalties being inflicted, things like fines. Or if, for example, a homeowner has used an amenity like a swimming pool in an improper way, they might be restricted from use of that swimming pool, and even going so far as restricting their voting rights at members' meetings if they still don't comply.
All right. So when it comes to those issues, those disputes, whether it be maybe noisy neighbours or anything like that, how is it typically resolved? I know that there's that, like you said, that first warning kind of thing going out, but what is the end game here? How does it work?
So generally how those sorts of noise disputes would start is a complaint by one neighbour about the other neighbour playing their music too loud or their dog's barking all the time or something like that. And then the complaint would go to the Homeowners Association or the managing agent. A lot of these associations have managing agents in place. They then give notice, give representations, and then they take the next step. It's all generally set out in the Constitution or in the MOI of the non-profit company, like you were talking about earlier. If it goes so far as the neighbour is not satisfied with the way that the HOA is dealing with this noise dispute, they can go to the Community Scheme Ombud Service, which is an organisation that's set up to regulate these sorts of community schemes, including things like body corporates, and they can make an order as to whether or not the HOA did carry out their functions correctly in penalising the defaulting neighbour.
And I mean, there is so much that goes on in a community as well. What are some of the more common issues that you guys have seen that HOA needs to step in and deal with? I mean, I know we're talking about those noisy neighbours and so, but I mean, there's a multitude of other issues that can arise from a community.
You were talking earlier about guidelines on what to build and how to build and getting the consent to build what you want to do. Some people just go ahead and do whatever they like. So some I've represented a homeowners association where a particular homeowner put in a huge sculpture of an eagle that didn't really actually apply to any of the guidelines or anything, and he refused to take it down or anything. So in that instance, we had to go all the way through to, that's why it got to us, is because we had to go and litigate on it. But
so dogs barking is a massive thing. And homeowners associations can go so far if the owner doesn't control their pet to require that they actually remove the animal from the association. And for a lot of us, our pets are like our babies. So that's a massive penalty to be imposed, but they are able to do it if it says they can in the rules.
Yeah, I was just thinking now about the building as well, because I mean, it's one thing to get your plans and stuff approved, but with regards to the homeowners association, you need their consent, you need the neighbors' consent. There's so much that goes into it. Otherwise, you might be slapping or sitting with an issue where you need to start applying for rezoning, which is a huge issue as well. So best to do it right from the get-go. We're going to be back in just a little bit. Stick around as we unpack the Homeowners Association and what they can do for you and how you need to go dealing with those disputes if you want to get in touch with your HOA.
You know, sometimes these neighborly spats, they really get you into a bad mood, but I think that the best way to get into a good mood is with some Jacobs. A 3-in-1 is absolutely beautiful, you know, filled with so much love, the love that you hoped that your neighbors would have. But we will be delving a bit deeper into this conversation a little bit later with our guests, so make sure you get involved. 063-408-8863, and why not grab yourself a cup of Jacobs and chill.
Jacobs 3-in-1, the perfect combination of coffee, milk, and sugar. Jacobs, the magic aroma.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You tune into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on S3, and we are back with Amy Farish along with Reva Watson as we continue to delve into the world of homeowners associations and how much control they have over the properties that they oversee. Now, homeowners associations are significant contributors to the well-being of communities, but can also come with their own challenges. And before we delve into the discussion, we had a voice note from Pauline this morning. Let's quickly take a listen.
Good morning, Expresso. Wanted to know, what is the law with subletting, and if the law states 20 people in a flat and not being on a lease, how does that work?
All right, so subletting rule states 20 people. What's your take on that?
So I think if I understand it correctly, if she's talking about in a homeowners association environment, generally your rules in your homeowners association would say that subletting is permitted, provided that, and often not always, the homeowners association has an opportunity to sort of vet your tenant. So do things like criminal checks, and because as an owner of another property or staying within the homeowners association, you want to make sure that whoever's coming in is not a criminal, for example. So that sort of thing is generally always dealt with in your rules. In your lease agreement, you would have to then get your landlord's consent to obviously sublet your apartment or your property within the homeowners association as well, on top of the homeowners association consent.
All right, so make sure before you enter in any of those agreements, make sure you know exactly the ins and outs of what you are allowed to do. All right, just to safeguard yourself, because you don't want to get into a sticky situation. Back to the HOA, the Homeowners Association, what are the specific rights and protections for homeowners within the HOA community?
So more generally speaking, the homeowner obviously has rights in terms of law. So things like the Constitution, rights to privacy, rights to equality, so equal treatment compared to all other homeowners, rights to dignity as well. But one of the main rights that homeowners have in this specific situation when they live in estates are your voting rights, where you have voting rights to vote on matters like changes to the rules and the Constitution and things like that. And we always urge homeowners, attend the meetings, vote. Because if you don't vote and if you don't attend the meetings, it becomes very difficult to complain somewhere down the line where it's something you could have actually had a say on.
It has been put out for you already.
Exactly, yeah. So I'd say definitely the strongest right is your voting rights in that situation.
And look, we know that homeowner associations, I mean, it's a group of people that come together and they foresee, obviously, for the better of the community, but are there limitations to what they can actually afford to?
So the Homeowners Association can't take the law into their own hands. They are still governed by legislation, and if you're talking about neighbours and nuisance and noise disturbances, etc., they will have to follow the right procedures in terms of what the bylaws may be or the regulations may be, etc. But essentially what your homeowners association is taking a homeowner, giving them a bit of protection, so that the homeowner goes to the homeowners association. The homeowners association then escalates it higher and higher. So it's just a little bit of insulation, call it, from having to deal with it all yourself.
Yeah, it's almost like helping to deal with it internally first if there's an issue. Absolutely.
So they sort of, the conduct rules that we've been talking about, etc., those are the rules that we're like, okay, this is what we're all agreeing to. Okay, you're now not agreeing to it. This is now illegal. So we are going to take the steps in terms of our law that we are entitled to do, and then the homeowners association and the managing agents, etc., should assist the homeowner with taking those steps so that it can be escalated properly.
All right. So Amy, let's put it into a real-world situation. If I have an issue with something with regards to my community, how does it work? Walk us through. How does disputes being settled? What's my first point of call? How do I even go about it?
So I think you have to take a practical approach from the get-go as well, because it is neighbours that you're dealing with, so you are going to have to live next door to them for quite some time. So you have to think, is it serious enough for me to actually go so far as to complain to the HOA? If it is serious enough, then you lodge a complaint in writing with the HOA, stating exactly what the problem is. Backing it up with evidence is always best, because then the HOA has all the facts at hand. Then the HOA sort of runs with the process, and they should always keep you informed. So it should always be a consultation process between the HOA, you, and the third party. You can, of course, request that your complaints are kept confidential, but naturally some people can assume who's actually complaining, yes. And then the HOA will run through the process going forward and fine the person or restrict their access to certain amenities or restrict their voting rights.
Yeah. Just a quick one, Riva. Should you feel as a homeowner that the HOA is not acting in accordance to their own guidelines, not all HOAs function, 100% well, what do you then stand to do? Where do you go?
Yeah, not all HOAs are created equal.
Yeah.
The base, we talked earlier about CSOS, which is the ombud for sectional title schemes and homeowners associations. That is basically the ombud that oversees these communities. So if you have a problem, they're like the police of the homeowners association. So if your homeowners association is not doing what they are supposed to be doing, that's where you report the homeowners association and call the homeowners association in to book. That's not necessarily where you would lodge your complaint against somebody in particular. It's usually saying, hey, I've lodged the complaint, the homeowners association is doing nothing, please can you call the homeowners association to book?
All right, so there are ways that you are protected even outside of the HOA, which is great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, ladies. I mean, this is a lot. This is a lot, but I think it's best that as a homeowner or somebody living in a community that you know exactly who to go, where to go, who your homeowner association is, and what you stand to do as well, and what your rights are as a homeowner.
Neighborly things. It can be very, very spicy, but I think to connect the two, I mean, if you love your coffee and you love a little something spicy, then you're going to love this winter spice latte made with Jacob's Gold instant freeze-dried coffee and some of the most aromatic spices hiding in that spice drawer as well. We are going to make this entire full spectrum. When I say we, I'm going to ask Ewan to come from our neighbors who gave us all sorts of amazing facts about the Homeowners Association. Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, that's quite fascinating. I mean, this is the one thing that I feel a lot of people out there, I mean, people that might be living in a community, they bought a house 10, 12 years back, but they have no real idea of who the Homeowners Association really are. Okay, so let's have a cup of coffee and think about it.
Let's think about it together. What we're going to do here today is that we're going to make something so special. It's going to be a winter spice latte. It is perfect. It's going to elevate your coffee on a special occasion. It's going to be great. So what I'm going to do is first, as you can see here, I've got a complete product, but I want to tell you how to break this down. This is where the spice comes in.
Is this what you're going to be making?
I'm going to do that. It's a syrup. It's a spice syrup, but it's got all the good spices in there. I'm going to go in with, remember to make a good simple syrup at home, just basically it's 1-to-1. So 1 cup of water, 1 cup of brown sugar, and it goes in.
I didn't know that.
And that's how it goes. So you make a simple syrup. Yeah, I got your back, man. This is why we're here. And then while that's doing that, as that is going to get a bit more liquid and also it's going to, that's correct. We're going to add some of the aromatics. Now, aromatics in your drawer that sometimes you don't use. If you're not going to make curry at home, come on, you can use these things. So you've got cinnamon. That's going to go in and steep away. You've got, I'm going to do some clove here as well. Clove's going to go in. I'm going to do some nutmeg, because nutmeg, obviously, it speaks to warmth. I'm going to do cardamom as well. And then I'm going to finish off with a bit of this, which is my orange zest.
Right.
And that's all going to go into the same, and we're going to break it down, we're going to cook it down, and once it's cooked down, we can run it through a sieve, and then you'll get that beautiful result. So what I want to ask you to do, Ewan, is that I want you to make the Jacob's Gold. As you know, it's really easy to make, but the flavors that come out of there, it's as if you spend hours steeping that beautiful coffee through. So we're going to do, in that bit of water, I'd say we'd be good with maybe a tablespoon or two, actually 2 tablespoons of Jacob's.
Yeah, because we want nice and strong coffee.
Why not? I'm going to get this to steep down as well.
All right.
And already the spices are coming out, the aromatics and heat. They're like the perfect friends.
And for love.
And this is what we're going to do. Okay, great stuff. And then while that's happening over there, there's also a bit of frothing. May the froth be with you. A little frothing hack for home is that if you've got one of those French presses that you use for coffee, you can actually drop some milk in there.
All right.
And give it a good vigorous plunge. And what that does is it's going to give you a beautiful frothy texture as if a machine did it. But you kind of hid that in the cupboard. You didn't even know that could actually make it happen.
All right, so coffee's going. What's next?
All right, the froth.
All right, so this is
that is, so make sure your hand is fixed on the top. It can get a bit messy. And then that's all you're doing. You're literally frothing that up and down. And I think that's quite a cool way of using your French press as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And
look at that.
That's correct.
Almost double the volume.
That's the whole idea. And I want it creamy, I want it beautiful, and this is going to steep down. That's going to have its time on there. Now, once that's done, this is where we get all sexy with it and plate, which I really enjoy.
There we go. I think that should be good.
Okay.
You don't want to make butter now.
Well, I mean, if you want to. that sounds good to me.
People put butter in their coffee.
All right. But yes, I heard
know,
so.
right?
Isn't it like a keto thing or
I don't know. I've heard
banting
weird
thing?
things of people putting things in coffee.
All right,
Peanut
this is
butter
what's
is
going to
one of
happen.
them.
So first
Okay.
and foremost, I want to take some of this that we made, all right? And this is going to go a tablespoon down, okay? And we're going to go in there.
Look how
I'm going to
syrupy
try.
that is.
I know, that's beautiful, isn't it? I'm going to try and get that perfectly in there.
Oh, look at that.
And that's pretty much all the sweetness you're going to need. No need to add extra sugar. Your sugar's all in the syrup and the spice, which is great. I'm going to do about, that's beautiful, isn't it? And this is where the theatre happens. So you can make this at home
Yeah.
and actually get the theatre going, which is beautiful. Okay,
Alright.
that's sorted. Then I want you to do the honors and pour down the coffee. That'll be great. And look already. And then there we go, perfect. Because we have to get some froth on top.
Yes.
And that gorgeous froth that you made earlier. Now we spoon that over the top to try and not mix the two. Your guests can do that by themselves.
Okay, I'm just going to pop this down here.
Perfect. And now you're going to pop that on top over there, and we're going to finish it off beautifully. So you can take a little spoon there, spoon it over gently to make those two very, very distinct layers. And I think this is where the magic comes in, because it's theatre, you know? It's theatre, it's Jacobs, it's winter, it's a spiced latte, and I mean, it's just something that's gorgeous.
Look at that.
I'm proud of you, by the way. You
I
frothed
am
that
proud
so
of you.
beautifully. And then, just to finish off, what we're going to do is I want you to just add some cinnamon on top, and then we are done and dusted. That's how it goes.
Okay, I hope you didn't expect me to make some coffee art here.
No. Well, I think this is just a little spritz a day.
little spritz.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
just
use
go
my
for it.
finger if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
no, please do. That's what you're supposed to. You're at Cinnamon Bay right now, homie, so let's do that.
See what I'm doing? I'm just putting it on the one side.
Because you like the negative space, don't you? You're such a culinary whiz, aren't you?
Oh, look at that.
And it's as simple as that. This is reducing down to make that, but that's pretty much it. Beautiful flavors, very, very spiced, and I think the best thing to do now is the proof of the pudding, which is definitely in the tasting.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it a quick small little stir.
I'm going to go straight in.
Go for it, because I want that syrup.
I feel warm inside.
You feel warm.
And it's not just because I'm like next to you. It's like that's I feel
Aw.
pretty. You know what I'm saying? The winter spice latte. It's a perfect way to elevate your coffee on
Ooh.
special occasions, especially on a cold day. So try it out at home. For the full recipe, go to expressoshow.com. And if you missed out on any of the steps, why don't we give you a recap? This is good. Cheers.
This is so good.
Here's to the coffee magicians. The ones who know what you get out starts with what you put in.
Facebook.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, your favorite neighbor on S3. And you don't really get to choose your neighbors. No, you don't. All you can do is try your best to be as, as good as you can be. Unless they're acting like they're the only residents in the neighborhood and they just want to go off and cut their trees and leave it in your backyard. Sorry,
like
just I won't even go there right now. But then you have probable cause for retaliation for some things. Like when they cut their tree and it lands in your backyard. Anyway, it doesn't matter because Reddit had a post out confessing the worst things that neighbors have done. In fact, what people have done to annoying neighbors to kind of get their own back. And there are a couple of stories that we have to share.
There's a couple of stories, not particularly exciting, but rather amusing. All right. So it goes like this. We briefly had a neighbor who was a complete annoyance. My personal pet peeve was when he would yell at our kids to shut up. While they were playing in our backyard. Now, next to his driveway was a big tree, and I noticed he'd occasionally throw hissy fits over the birds doing their number 2 on his car. And then one week he was out of town, but his car was still in the driveway. So each day I put heaping pile of berries, blueberries, strawberries, all of those very colorful berries next to the tree, and he returned home to a car absolutely covered in technicolored bird poop. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, they're taking a stance, an initiative. I don't know what you call it.
It is initiative, You could have chosen path 1, but you chose path 2.
Yeah.
Let's think about that. We have Queen Minnie, Queen Carissa, and Queen Sebastian here. I'm sorry, just makes sense, all right? Would you use Mother Nature to get back at your neighbor? It's a good idea?
Yes.
Technically, no responsibility?
It wasn't me. I was feeding the birds. The birds decided to do what they wanted to do.
Oh, they looked hungry.
Parked there. Why did you park there?
Thank you.
Pity is also like so subtle. You know what I mean? It's the least you can actually do as revenge. We could have gone here, but we went here.
It's a start.
It's a start. Starting blocks.
That works. It does. Okay, here's another one that I want you to weigh in on, okay?
And this one.
All right. So the neighbor used to insist on mowing his lawn at 5:30 a.m. on a Saturday. On a Saturday morning. Oh, my word. He had to drive on our property to access his back lawn and would buzz right past my window with the mower decked down, waking me up. I asked him to stop, but he just brushed it off. One Friday night, after working a late second shift, I left my dog's chain in the tall grass on our property between our houses. 5:30 a.m. Saturday comes around and I woke up to the sound of the mower sucking the chain up into the mower deck. The next weekend, I got to sleep in. That's what it sounds like. I feel like it's evil.
That's a bit dangerous, guys.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It does. Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, you want to... we spoke about those little things, but you got to put some thought into it as well.
Yeah.
You can't harm
put some
someone.
thought into that one.
What if that chain kind of just, came out and hit the foot of the guy? I mean, then you have a different situation in your hands.
How did the chain
why
get
did he
there?
decide to mow that day?
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a foot. He's got 2 of them. I mean...
And also, right, everybody has become a photographer of some sort of videographer.
Yes.
So it's not that easy to just, you need to be careful, because at the end of the day, proof is easily found. So you don't want to you don't want to give them that leverage. So when you go at them, you're just like, I have been doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yes. It was an accident, it's fine. And we have to consider the fact that a neighborhood's chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
There we go. Oh, so profound.
Well said.
Profound.
Come on now.
Here's another one for you. In college, I lived across from a frat house that would let people park in our spaces. We know that parking spaces, it's an issue. Now, their router password was admin. So I logged into their router, banned all of their MAC addresses, and changed the passwords.
Wow.
They never saw it coming.
Wow. On a level of like 1 being or 10 being genius, what are we thinking?
Genius.
I'm thinking it's around 10. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this is my thing.
Yeah.
A neighbor, where I currently live, my neighbor parked in my bay. And I'm like, but why? Like, your bay is there and it's empty.
Yeah.
So by changing the MAC addresses and for the Wi-Fi router, did it solve the parking issue for you? Okay, will it? Okay, I'm just wondering.
Let's go there.
That's when they're gonna drive out to maybe find a new router, and then that's when you pull in.
Then I can just go back in.
And block them. But there's nothing worse than your Wi-Fi not working. What an inconvenience.
In today's day and
right?
age, I mean, I just hear when my router goes off, my kids pop out of their rooms very quickly.
You hear it. Yeah.
Why is the Wi-Fi off?
Yeah.
No, we get it. We get it.
Wow, she was these tactics. Okay, one more story. Now, the story goes like this. They assaulted my dad because he told them to stop yelling at a woman parked in the road. So I bided my time for a few weeks and filled all the locks on their work van with super glue.
Wow.
Because you know what? If you make a plan, you must stick to it.
Super.
That's the thing. Like for me, I relate so much because you mess with my rents. You cannot.
Yeah,
like for me, I unleash the inner animal in me. Because,
My parents?
That's personal.
Inner animal, Queen
I
Minnie.
unleash this one.
Whoa.
You can see it. You can see it.
She comes out to play. That's like no. You know what? I'm for whoever that is.
Yeah.
Because,
But also, you have thought about that, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go and buy glue.
And each and every one. It's also harmless. I kind of like that plan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harmless in the way they
We're
won't be
nice
able to go to
people.
work.
I can.
Nice
They must take an Uber. Like, what?
Yeah. So don't yell at my dad. I'm sorry.
We have nice people, eh?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very
We
nice.
have nice people who comment on social media as well. You know, we asked a little earlier, do you have annoying neighbors and do you try and get back at them or choose to love thy neighbor and turn your cheek? 063-408-8863, or you can jump into the socials and you got a couple of comments that came through.
We do. Here's a couple of comments. Tabang says, you must love neighbors no matter what. Not all neighbors are bad. Try to act like everything is okay. Sometimes you just ignore them and live your life. Ooh, and then Entle replying there, easier said than done. Some of us are extremely private individuals. Yes, I get it.
Yeah.
To a point, you know, you want to give your neighbors their space to do whatever, but if it infringes on your own life and, you know, your doen en later, that is when I think you need to take a little bit of action.
Definitely.
Well, okay, here's some action on the social media pages. Now, Aisha Lawrence saying, I've got awesome neighbors. My rule is if I don't pay your rent, I don't bother what goes on at your home. Besides, I might be a bit loud when my daughter's matric results come out early next year, and I'll expect him to be just as understanding of boom, boom, boom. And if you say, well, it's going to happen. Yeah, there we go. Sure, that sounds
No,
cool.
I get it. We have another one here. Jade Oswin says, my neighbors are quite shame. We're the noisy ones.
He means quiet.
Yeah, I think he's quiet, shame.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
We're the noisy ones. We party till 5 a.m. done next day. It's worse when we're having a function at home as well. Outright admitting it. So, hey, we are those neighbors.
Yes.
The culprits.
Yeah, admitting.
That's it. I'm so glad Jade Oswin Jacobs
Say that name again.
on Facebook. Jade Oswin Jacobs. That's it. And now you're out there. You're welcome.
Thank
That's what we're
you.
here
Where's the next jaw at? When is
It's Jade Oswin Jacobs' house. That's where it is.
Invite
There.
Thank you for sharing. And I can tell you that you all are fantastic neighbors. Like although when you gave them the super glue idea, I get a bit worried that could happen very soon. You know, look there,
no,
you
I
see.
can see Chris are taking notes here.
All right.
Look, at the end of the day, just be neighborly. But then again, that's such a broad term. What does it really mean?
Right.
And then again.
Yes, Jade Osmond Jacobs.
Yeah. We'll see you soon for a lekker jol.
That time his vacation ended last week.
Oh, and by the way, guys, at the airport lounge, free food, free drinks for us VIPs, very important passengers.
Oh, VIP. When anyone can get 12 free airport lounge visits with a My Goals premium account.
So your 12 lounge vacations are for bonky.
Yeah, very.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso, and you're live in S3, and all the way from London back home to his roots in Cape Town, where you're joined by comedy giant Loyiso Gola. He's here to give us the scoop about his upcoming show, Popular Culture, his new one-man show live in Cape Town at the Homecoming Theatre. Loyiso, nice to have you here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Why? What's going on?
I'm just saying the London. I don't know if you've changed accent. You know, us South Africans, when you go abroad for 2 days, then we sound different.
No, it's even less. Sometimes it's like 24 hours. No. Yeah. Well, for a little bit, I'm back. I mean, I'm up and down, so I'm back. I'm back now, yeah.
So your new show,
yes.
Popular Culture. When I think about that, I think about movies, and I think about Kardashians, and I think about...
No, I just think like...
What do you think?
I'm just combining what's like contemporary stuff, so it's popular stuff. What's happened, like the story of like how South Africa gave Russians weapons. I'm like, that is the biggest, you know, like when you lie, make it believable.
Yes.
There's no way Russia's taking weapons from us, bro. Maybe a can opener. Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean we gave Russia, like things like that, and then culture is just...
Yeah.
I'm interested in the shifting of cultures.
Okay.
Like just the, so it's not necessarily popular culture the way we understand it.
Yeah.
It's contemporary stuff, and how it's mostly about how the shift of culture.
So the way you develop the show, obviously these things affect you, and that's the way the comedy material comes up, because you're thinking about how can you be so dumb, how can you be so stupid to do this, and then suddenly you got a piece. So the development of the material, I mean, are there things that you actually look out for, or are you sitting there and allowing the things to come to you?
I allow things to come. I just generally allow things to come to me.
Okay.
Even just generally in life, like I allow. I'm like, oh, let the thing flow. Like today, they were like, yo, be here at this time. And I was like, I'll allow them to do it without me.
Yes, I know so. And then we had to call you 8 times. But it's fine. It's okay, because at least you're here now. I only care about the results, you know, and the result is that you are here.
At the end of the day,
right?
Well, we're both here and we're engaging.
That's it, and we have to, because you've been in London for, what, is it been 8 years now?
Yeah, since 2016, 17, I'm not really sure the year. And I mean, for me, it's not like the idea is not to live in one place. It's to be able to be mobile.
Yeah.
Just wherever I am that's where I'm gonna plant myself for whatever, however long, you know what I mean? Like I've been in New York 3 months, and then I go to London 3 months. I just move around like that. I think that's how I'm able to get my stand-up comedy to a certain level, where I'm not fixated with one place. My brain is always...
And it's good, though,
floating, yeah.
It allows your material in its authenticity to travel, which is so good, because in 8 years, the London scene's very different. Like I've checked out a lot of the London comics. The one-liner thing that comes out of London is quite prevalent. But like, what about you bringing that to a stage in London? Because even though I know South Africans are in London, you know, most of us are there anyway.
I don't really see South Africans in London.
But now, how is it that you are received by this London audience that are sometimes quite cynical as an audience as well?
Have they told you how good I am at stand-up?
They said.
No.
They said, but that audience over there sometimes, you know.
No.
They're good.
I'm generally like a very translatable act. I think I've worked hard at that. I've done shows Oslo, Reykjavik.
Love it.
I once went to this city in Finland called Kuopio. It's on the border of Russia.
Sounds like it's from here.
Yeah, it's Kuopio. And the weird thing in the summer, I think in July, the sun never sets. Have you ever watched that movie Insomnia with Al Pacino?
Yes, I love that movie.
It never, like how the sun never sets, it was just like that. Like it was the first time I had experienced that. It was quite crazy, and I had to do stand-up in a place where there were no black people, they don't speak English, and you're just like, all right, cool, I gotta make this work, you know? And I've done stand-up in such peculiar places that I've become bulletproof at some point.
Man, and I love it. And also, you traveling around the world as well. I think a lot of people from your roots are looking at you and saying, like, I can do it as well. There's a lot of inspiration in what you're doing. And
I don't. I also don't try to inspire people.
You don't?
No, I'm like, nah. Most of the time, I'm like, you'll be fine.
Oh, man.
Because because you say that to me, and then I inherit that.
Okay.
And I didn't want that.
Okay.
You know how sometimes someone is an activist out of nowhere?
Yes.
Because you said it. You're like, oh, you're being so positive for people. And then the person's like, no, I was just telling you my story, bro.
Okay.
Why are you like imposing these ideas? And so I'm very careful how people perceive me or the way they speak of me. Because I could inherit your words and I have to live up to your words. And sometimes
I can take it back.
Please take it back.
I'm taking it back. International stand-up comedian Loyiso Gola is here. And the thing is, I can tell you, your show, it's going to be phenomenal. I know that...
You got to come, man.
No, I'd like to, because I got some details. I know it's the Homecoming Theatre, 12 to 17 June as well.
Yeah. So I hope you can come, because you have to be here early, right?
Yes, but but dude, I support talent.
Okay, cool.
I mean, especially... talent that, okay, I'm not going to say inspirational talent, but I'm going to say a talent. I'm going to just say that. Loyiso Gola show, make sure you grab the tickets on your screen now. It's in Cape Town, the Homecoming Theatre, 12 to 17 June. But can I say that we are proud? Is that fine? Is that okay? I'm not going to...
You can say that.
Okay, I'm going to say, because I'm really proud of you, because I know...
People don't know where to get tickets. You can get them on Quicket.
Quicket. So get the tickets at Quicket as quick as you can. Loyiso Gola is going to be here, 12th, 17 June, Homecoming Theatre. Did I say it enough? Maybe I didn't. But here he is. This man. Go and watch his show.
Thank you very much, Carl. Definitely lovely having Loyiso back on home soil. For now, though, let's get into another round of your news headlines for the last time, 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. Starting off with your national news, a full bench of judges in the Supreme Court in Pietermaritzburg has ruled that ex-President Jacob Zuma may not again institute any private prosecution against State Attorney Billy Downer and journalist Karen Morgan. Now, Downer and Morgan's application to have the private prosecution case against them withdrawn was granted yesterday. Now, Zuma accused Downer of leaking confidential medical information to Morgan, and Zuma must now pay Downer and Morgan's legal costs. And Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says Eskom will not be granted a partial exemption from disclosing irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure and material losses from criminal conduct in its annual financial statements. Godongwana says the Eskom board needs to do more operationally to reduce the scope of fraud and corruption before such an exemption can be considered and for it to be effective. He said that Treasury recognized the need to support and strengthen Eskom and other SOEs in reversing the effects of state capture. Making international news headlines this morning, Kenya's economy is expected to grow at a faster pace this year, the World Bank said yesterday, underpinned by a recovery in the key agriculture sector. The East African nation's economy would expand by 5% in 2023. The bank said its latest biannual Kenya Economic Update report up from 4.8% last year. Now, following a debilitating drought in the past 2 years, many farming areas have enjoyed adequate rainfall in recent months, which could boost production and reduce inflationary pressure. And tens of millions of people in North America have woken to dangerous air quality levels as intense wildfires rage across Canada. Smoke blanketed large areas of Ontario and Quebec, and Toronto and New York ranked among the metro's areas with the worst air quality in the world overnight. An orange haze shrouded the Statue of Liberty in New York. Zoos in New York and Toronto have closed, and the high-risk animals have been brought inside. In the New York Zoo, there's huge concern for a 3-week-old gorilla baby because of the unhealthy air. And we end off with this story. 16 learners from Zwelintemba High School near Worcester in the Boerland will attend an international robotics competition in Massachusetts, America. Now, this hardly a year after their maths teacher, Kudakwashe Takawira, established a science, technology, engineering and mathematics, a STEM club at the school. And the Galactic Einsteins, as they are known, have won numerous competitions to be nominated for the prestigious honor to represent South Africa. Now, things are sure buzzing, bleeping and whirring at Zwelintemba High School. Its STEM club's tech wizards are focused, fine-tuning their robots and raring to go. What an awesome story. Well done to the learners and all of the best. That's your news headlines for your Thursday morning.
Thanks a lot, Ewan. Let's wrap up the sporting desk, shall we? Cape Town Spurs made it 3 from 3 in the PSL promotion playoffs following their 1-0 victory against Kazrick Stars. Mornay Nal scored the lone goal 7 minutes after Spurs were brought down to 10 men when Ashley Cupido was shown a dubious red card. The Mother City outfit have now played 3 playoff matches, winning each fixture with a 1-0 scoreline, putting Sean Bartlett's side on 9 points, ahead of Maritzburg, who are on 3 points. The team of choice have 2 games left and will need to win both to have a chance of retaining their status. Now, staying with football, Lionel Messi, a very, very controversial move Many people would say, is he going to go to Barcelona? Is he going to Saudi Arabia? No, he picked something else. He has confirmed he'll be moving to Inter Miami in what is set to be the biggest transfer in the history of MLS, following weeks of speculation and links with Barcelona and clubs in Saudi Arabia. The World Cup winner will now play in the United States. I'm not coming back to Barca. I'm going to Inter Miami, said Messi in a press conference on Wednesday. I wanted to return to Barca, but not leave my future in the hands of someone else. Possibly a little indictment there, however. Reports suggest he did pick the move for his family. Now, cricket, let's start there. And of course, Travis Head hit a sparkling century to put Australia in a dominant position against India on day one of the World Test Championship final at the Oval. Now, Head ended on 146 not out, shared an unbroken stand of 251 with Steve Smith, who looked in ominous touch for his unbeaten 95. The fourth wicket pair took Australia to 327-3 at the close. India, beaten in the first Test Championship final 2 years ago, opted to bowl first on a green pitch under grey sky and reduced Australia to 76 for the loss of 3. Now on to tennis news. Alexander Zverev made an emotional return to the French Open semi-finals 1 year after a horror ankle injury sent his career into a tailspin, as Iga Swiatek set up a last four clash against Brazilian trailblazer Beatriz Haddad Maia. Now, Zverev claimed a 6-4, 3-6, 6-3 and 6-4 win over Thomas Martin Echeverry and will play Casper Ruud in the last four after he beat Holger Rune in 4 sets. Defending champion Swiatek brushed aside 19-year-old Coco Gauff 6-4, 6-2 in a rematch of last year's final and will play Haddad Maia in the semis after she beat Ons Jabeur 3-6, 7-6 and 6-1. That's it for the sport. If you're heading to work and you want to know what's ahead of you on those roads, Ewan has got all the details.
Thank you, Carl. Quite a bit happening out on the road. Starting off with the East Rand, there's been a multi-vehicle accident on the R24 westbound at Edenvale on the M37. The left shoulder is closed and you can expect delays in the area as well. Just be careful there. In Pretoria, stationary vehicle on the N1 southbound at Linwood Road. The left lane is effective. However, free-flowing traffic can still be expected. Just be cautious in that area. Then jumping over to Durban, there's some congestion on the N3, EB Kluter, to after the ramp from Inanda Road interchange. You can expect some delays and maintain a safe following distance there as well. And in Cape Town, congestion taking place on the N1 inbound at Jip de Jager. You can expect some delays and allow for more travel time, especially down in Cape Town with all the wet weather. Please be safe on the roads. In your weather for the last time, residents in the Western Cape can expect the cold, windy and wet weather to persist until tomorrow, with the SA Weather Service issuing a level 1 warning for disruptive rain resulting in localized flooding expected over the Stellenbosch, Drakensberg and Witzenberg areas. A series of cold fronts started to move into the province from yesterday. The yellow level 2 warning for wind and waves resulting in difficulty in navigation at sea between Cape Columbine and Cape Agulhas also still persists. Now for your temperatures this morning, Polokwane starting off on 9 degrees, a minimum reaching a maximum of 27 degrees. Mbombela 15, 33. Pretoria 10 and a high of 24. Johannesburg starting off on 9 degrees minimum, reaching a high of 22 degrees. Over to Mahikeng, starting off on 5 degrees minimum, your maximum 27 degrees. Klerksdorp on 4 degrees minimum, reaching a high of 27. Kimberley, nice and cold this morning with 1 degree, starting off this morning, reaching a high of 20 later on. Bloemfontein, 2 minimum, also very cold, but warming up to 21 degrees later on today. Over to Richards Bay, starting off on 15 degrees minimum and a nice and warm maximum of 29 degrees later on. Pietermaritzburg on 10 minimum and a maximum of 26. Durban 16, 25. Mthatha starting off on 4 degrees minimum, nice and chilly, but warming up to 25 later on today. East London 14 and a high of 23 degrees. Cradock starting on 4 degrees minimum, staying cool with a maximum of 19. Gqeberha on 12 minimum, your maximum 22, and George on 12 and 21 maximum later on today. Then for Cape Town, you can expect a minimum of 12, staying cold with a maximum of 17 degrees. Worcester 10 and a high of 16. Sutherland very, very cold today, starting off on 5 degrees minimum, but staying cool with a maximum of only 9 degrees. And Uppington starting off on 4 degrees minimum, reaching a maximum of 20 later on today. That's a wrap for your temperatures for your Thursday morning. Before we go anywhere, let's quickly take a last look at some of those sunrise views that you shared with us this morning. We're going to start off with this one. Tacey Smith. Good morning, Tacey. He's out in Hout Bay. Shared this beautiful, magnificent view of the morning sky. Absolutely breathtaking. Thank you very much. Then Margaret, good morning, Margaret Kenville from Durban, sent in her image of the sun's golden rays peeking through the trees in a beautiful garden. Looks stunning. Oh, the Durban sunrises are simply the best. And then Tepo shared his view of the sun setting ablaze, the partly cloudy skies in Pretoria. Also stunning way to wake up. Thank you for sharing. And lastly, Clive Payne from Durbanville. Good morning, Clive. Thanks for sharing. He shared this beautiful view of the rather blinding sun while on a beautiful morning walk. Now, that is one way to wake up for sure. Thank you very much for sharing. Please do continue to share with us this morning. We would love to see your part of South Africa and wherever you may be watching us here on Expresso. But you can do so on our WhatsApp line 06340888863.
Now, I know it's a bit warm, but sometimes you do need to kind of counteract the chill with a bit of chill. And this is the perfect way to do it. Jacob's, it's an iced cappuccino. It's salted caramel flavor. And I just want to let you know that this is the ultimate indulgence. Now, you can be served warm or you can chill it out. It's entirely up to you. But it's creamy, it's comforting, and I think it's exactly what you need to warm up any sort of day. In fact, give me a second. I'll be with you in a moment. Hold on. Now, when you think salted and caramel, you may think that it's not coming through, but you can actually feel that on the tongue, salted, of course, caramel, deep flavors, richness. I'm actually pretty happy with this one, though. It's only my 9th cup of Jacob's this morning, but I think that this could be the final one. It's a beautiful top, and I'm ready for it, actually. So if you want to give this a shot, Jacob's, salted caramel, iced cappuccino, and I think it's a perfect way to get your palate cleansed for another performance from Corniel Miller in the next couple of minutes, right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is so lekker.
Making an iced cappuccino with thick creamy froth is now impressively easy.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on S3. And I'm looking forward to the next couple of segments as we head on over closer and closer to Father's Day. That's right. We're putting the spotlight on the importance of fathers. Now, Fathers Matter is a brilliant initiative being done by an NGO called Heartlines. And according to their research, Children who grow up with a positive, active male presence in their lives face a lower risk of economic and well-being challenges, and that is big in its own. Now, over the coming weeks, we are going to be looking at the role of a father and how to become a better one with our partners from Heartlines. And our first guest this morning is Nkosinathi Sitkabai, Heartlines Fathers Matters Community Mobilization lead, and he's also a doting husband and father of 4. Nkosinathi, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. I'm glad we are talking about this.
Yeah. Very, very critical.
Yeah, I don't think people put enough emphasis on the role of a father, because a father and a man as the traditional roles of going out, being the provider.
Yeah.
That's the kind of traditional sense of how we are looking. But as the community leader, a father of 4 as well, how do you see the importance of a father for your kids?
Well, it's so significant, and I think this is the reason why we are engaged in this initiative, because we undermine the importance of the presence of the fathers in the lives of children. Research shows that over 60% of the children in South Africa grow without the biological father in their homes. And not only that, that's why we're saying we're wanting to promote the positive presence of not only fathers, in cases where the fathers are not there, but a male figure in the life of a child is so critical, and that's something that we take for granted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, that sets the tone for how they act and how they go about their relationships with, boys, with women, and that's the problem that we are seeing as well with gender-based violence.
That's the point.
It stems from that father figure being a good father figure.
Statistics show that majority of the people that are in prison are coming from fatherless homes. We talk about drug and alcohol abuse. We talk about, perpetrators and victims of gender-based violence are coming from fatherless homes.
And that's why it's so important. That is it's a very, very big topic. But as a father of 4, your house must be incredibly busy.
Definitely.
So what personal stories do you have to share about the significance that you play in the lives of your children?
I've been involved in my children's life, all of them, ever since they were born, and it's amazing to see the relationship that I've built with them. I mean, including taking them to clinic, which is something that most fathers don't do, changing the diaper.
Yeah.
It's something that we need to be doing as fathers, because we take the responsibility and we shift it to women as the nurturers. But the reality is that fathers play a significant role, because it builds a relationship with your children. I mean, my daughter now is at university, and it's amazing the kind of relationship we have that has been built because I was a present, positive, and active father in her life. And I think it's the same with all my children, all my boys as well. They enjoy just spending time with them. I enjoy it as well. And I ask myself, why do fathers run away? Why do fathers are not active and present in the lives of children?
I love it. You're giving me goosebumps. I can see that you are such a genuine father and a loving father at that, and that is what we need. I spoke about the Heartlines Fathers Matters initiative. What does this particularly aim to achieve?
I think one of the things we aim to achieve is to highlight the fact that why do fathers matter? Because most fathers don't even acknowledge or realize that they matter. Because society has pushed them, and money, because fathers are reduced to provision.
Yeah, exactly.
If you cannot provide, then you're not a father, and that is not true. And so fathers have taken a step back, and so we want to highlight the why fathers matter, and with all the conversations that are taking place in communities. We're running workshops, we're having conversations, we've got the 6 films that we're going to be rebroadcasting with SABC every Saturday at 8:30, SABC 2 at 8:30. And so we've got all of those lined up throughout this month. We've got campaigns and events happening in Soweto, in Alex, and throughout the country. We are highlighting the importance of fathers.
Yeah, and I think it's such a good way to combine Youth Month and Father's Day, and having that initiative run together, because I do feel that to have a healthy society, you need an active and a healthy role from both parents.
Exactly.
Those fathers.
Exactly.
Let's quickly take a look. I mean, this is fantastic. The Heartline series. This is what you can expect very quickly.
Scholarship. No, it's a
o ile ba bontšha meragelo le gore ke wena mang ka gore ge ke fitlha ke nyaka go bona perfection.
Pues ke gopela gore sa ntshepiša selo se e leng gore ke a tseba gore se ka se reagale.
It's a piece of glass on like what I keep at heart.
Come on, coach.
It just puts a different spin on what a father's role should be. What was the first response the first time around when this came out?
Absolutely amazing. People responded so well because, you see, films speak to, they express what people are feeling, and people engaged, because we've got discussion guides, people engaged with the films, and the response was just amazing. A lot of fathers realized that even though I'm away physically, I can still be active and present in the life of my child. Some of the fathers realize that even though I'm present at home, but I'm actually absent emotionally, I'm absent, I'm not active in the lives of children. And so we've seen great response from the communities, and people are just saying, you know, this has changed my life.
Yeah.
And the idea is that not only should it impact the father, it should impact the child. And it supports the mother of the child. Because a lot of mothers, for instance, realize that, look, I was a stumbling block from the father being involved. And therefore, I need to open up and allow the father, regardless of what happened between the two of us in the relationship, the child is what is important.
That is the most important. Kosanati, thank you very much for being just that beacon of light and such a good example of being a father, because like you rightly said, a father's, you know, it's more than just being present.
Yeah,
it's got to be emotionally available. Thank you very much, Kosanati. So we are celebrating Youth Month, the Father's Day, with a rebroadcast of Heartlines as unique short films on SABC2 on Saturday, the 1st, the 17th, and the 24th of June at 8:30 p.m. Relatable stories that you do not want to miss.
Powerful stuff over there, just like this man's voice. Joining us, talented performer and cellist Corniel Miller. And this individual is going to give you a beautiful song. It's the one we've been waiting for. I've been developing this, I've been building up to it, and now it is here. And you always know a song is going to be powerful when somebody sits down to sing it. This is Corniel Miller's beautiful track that you're going to have in rotation in your head. It's Hart Sippend. I love it.
Kom sit hier langs my. Vertel my waaraan jy dink. Ek wil jou skuiling wees. Vertel my jou drome. Kom fluister jou diepste vrees. Ek wil jou wêreld ken. Jy is die rots waarop my huis gebou is. Veilig teen die wind en die een plek waar ek skuiling kan vind. In my wye wêreld weet ek, liefde sal ons bind, want jy is my hart se punt. Laat my glimlach, jy staan my asem weg, jy bly 'n wonderwerk. Kom breek in my arms, kom word in my hande heel, kom hou my vir altyd vas, want jy is die rots waarop my huis gebou is. En een plek waar ek skuiling kan vind. In my wye wêreld weet ek, liefde sal ons bind, want jy is my hart se punt. Hou my vas, teen jou lyf, jy is die rots waarop my huis gebou is, veilig teen die wind, en nie een plek waar ek skuiling kan vind. Jy is die rots waarop my huis gebou is, veilig teen die wind, en nie een plek kies my en jy bly my hart se punt.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Why are you looking at me? No, no, no. I'm fine. That's not. It's just they were chopping onions earlier. I'm okay. Corniel Miller. Wow, what a beautiful song. Hartsepunt is its name. Please go and get it. In fact, if you look in the dictionary at vocal krach as a definition, you know, Corniel will be there. That's what I'm saying. It's beautiful, honestly, my friend. A song that's deep and emotional and what we need for any sort of day. And trust me, Corniel Miller's got another performance coming up for you a little bit later. So make sure you stay and keep that beautiful, emotive energy that he just gave you. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. I'm going to go cry.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. You are tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on S3, and we are continuing now the conversation on why fathers matter this morning. And we are joined now by young actor Jordan Brown, who starred in the short film Everything a Boy Could Want as part of Heartline's film series that's rebroadcasting currently on SABC2 from the 10th of June till the 24th of June. And the conversation would not be complete, of course, without Jordan's dad, Charlton Brown. Let's take a look quickly at the trailer before we chat to them.
Don't forget you're coming home early. I heard you the first time, Lester.
He's different to you, Martin.
He needs a tough approach, Lynn.
Where are you?
I'm in a meeting.
Rugby's in your blood.
What is your problem, Lester? You have everything a boy could want. You don't know what I want.
Sure. Now, that is powerful stuff. Jordan, can we please get Charlton? I thought Dwayne. Why is Dwayne here? Listen, this man looks exactly like The Rock, and I promise I'm not going to say anything, but it is uncanny.
Oh, no, on national television.
Charlton, lovely to have you as well, man. Thank you very much for joining us. And I'm so happy that we are having these conversations in Youth Month, gearing up to Father's Day, of course. Jordan, I want to start with you. Actor from El Dorado Park, my friend. And from what I've seen there, you are doing a brilliant job. I think you've got a good career ahead of you. How excited were you for the Heartlines project?
Well, you know, I was very excited, but not only because
I got to be part of this film. I got to do my first film, but because I got to be part of something with a deeper message. It shows us and it helps us understand how important fathers are in a child's life.
Yeah, and listen, I can see that your father, I mean, we haven't even connected for that long, but he means a lot to you, and I can see that. Chat to me about your character, Lester.
My character, Lester. Okay, Lester is, you know, a young man, a typical teenage boy, who's just trying to make his father proud. But his father keeps pushing these things on him that just isn't him. And all he wants to do is make his father see him for who he is and appreciate him, even if it means that he has to do things that doesn't make him happy.
Just being there for you. And we spoke about it in a previous segment where, you know, a father's presence is important, but the emotional availability, I think that overshadows that completely as well. What does your father's support mean for you in your career, where you are with school and everything else that a young boy goes through?
My father, he really encourages me to do well in school and to understand that it's not just about school. I have to do well in school so I have a great future, and I have to make sure that that future is what I love. It's doing what I want to do. If it weren't for my parents and if it weren't for my father, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
No, absolutely. And if I just take a look at how I grew up as well, you know, that the support of your parents, of your father in doing the things that you want to do is absolutely crucial. Charlton, when you look at this young man of yours, I mean, what is the first things that goes through your head?
You're going to make me cry, eh? I've got 3 boys. I'm proud of all 3 of them. Jordan is my only one who showed that he's interested from a very young age, that he's interested in the arts when it comes to performance from a very young age. And I saw that, and with the Fathers Matter project, you know, when my boy was a toddler, he had this smile. He had like a smile from ear to ear. If he didn't have ears, he would smile his head off. And when he got the role on Everything a Boy Could Want, because as teenagers, they lose that smile. They want to be cool. And when he came out of that audition room, I saw my baby smile, and that just warmed my heart.
Yeah, to know that he's doing something that he loves and that you could be there to see that, because I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, absent fathers, but you are there. You're making sure you're putting in the time as well. Now, before you became a dad, what was your outlook on fatherhood? What did you want to kind of solidify? What foundation did you want to build?
Yeah, before I was a father, I would obviously look at my father, how he did things. I would look at other fathers, you know, and try to take the positives from what I could get there, you know. And nothing can prepare you to be a father yourself, you know. Because when I became a dad, it was all new.
There's no manual.
Yeah, there's no manual. There's no blueprint. So it's basically on-the-job training, you know. And my biggest trainers for me personally was my kids. And still today, today I have a house full of teenagers. That's another ballpark that I'm in now. And I'm still learning as a dad, you know. And I just hope and pray that I'm doing my best.
Yeah, I think you are doing your best. If I can see this dapper young man next to you. Thank you very much for joining us, Charlton. Jordan, thank you very much as well. And all the best. I'm hoping to see you more on the screens as the years go by, that's for sure. Charlton, you've got a good one here.
Thank you very much.
You've got a good dad, my friend. You've got a good dad. We can continue that conversations, putting the spotlight on dads and the importance of the roles that dad play in a family dynamic.
Bonjour, bonjour. The baguette, a masterpiece of French baking, boasting a crisp golden crust and a soft, airy interior of pure indulgence. It is a national heritage site in one food. It is beautiful. Armed with an assortment of delectable spreads, filling, and sauces, we are stepping up to play this morning for the ultimate baguette challenge. And we need contestants, don't we? We need 2 baguettes, we need a kitchen, we have everything we need, but all we need is you to be the good judge. And we've got some people here. Excuse me, back to South African brew. Yes, now, this is the vibe. We have a challenge on. We've got our very own Sebastian, a.k.a. his French name, of course, and he'll be giving us a bit of judgment on this. We need to create a delicioso, a beautiful sandwich, of course. It's got to be magnifique. And we have to call in the people. So first we have Ouma. I know you know Ouma.
Bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. Comment allez-vous? Ça va?
Ja, lekker.
Très bien. Beautiful. That is Ouma. And then we need Sebastian to come here and be our judge. Okay.
Oh, Juge.
Yes. Hello, Sebastian. Bonjour, bonjour. Comment allez-vous?
That's all I know.
That's all I know. It's not an answer to that question, but it's okay. So what are you looking for in the baguettes today?
You know what I need? I need both of yours to be completely different. So it needs to speak to who you are as a person.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Taste, flavor, and nobody wants to do it all.
When you say this, I don't understand. You say
Druer.
Druer.
Yes.
Dru.
Yes.
What is dru?
Dry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. This language is very difficult in English, so it is okay.
Dis droëbrood, wat ons nie soek nie.
Aware. Right. Shall we? So are we going to be fine
You've got 60 seconds.
60 seconds?
Yes. And everyone's going to help me. 3, 2, 1. You've got to use your clover cheeses. Wait, no, I didn't start the
Wait,
timer.
don't. Start. Hold on. I'm actually going to get all in. I actually got gloves in this thing as well.
And your time starts now. Go.
Now. Okay, it's time going.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, cool. Sorry. All right.
Focus.
Let's go. Sorry, man. I'm going to focus. I'm going to go Clover. I'm going tangy here. And I want to just make sure there's a nice, beautiful thing ladle on there. It's 60 seconds. So I want to make sure. I like this is basically the lubricant of any good sandwich is a good mayonnaise. And Clover's got the best mayonnaise, if you know. I'm also going to go with some. And we're going to go down there and we're going to give them the beautiful folds, which is what you want over there.
Ewan, what's happening on your side?
That's it there.
You're looking a bit panicked, Ewan.
I am panicked.
No plan.
This is how we're going to go.
No plan.
Yeah, and then we've got some cucumber, which is also very beautiful. I'm going to go these out here, which is always good. There's a little bit of cheese, which is fantastic. I know that's such cheese.
It's also going to taste nice, eh, guys?
No.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Your time's up. Give him a round of applause, guys. Okay, do you have a name for your baguettes?
Yeah, slap it together.
Love it, yours?
Yeah.
This one is called the beautiful baguette. This is filled with, look at that. So it is a baguette, but it is got a good no? As well as a good bit of flame, so you get the smokiness that I will enjoy.
Stunning. Can you please cut it for me, Ewan?
Where do you? Oh, there's Ewan. Okay, cool.
Oh, okay. Do you want a
I'm just
quarter?
gonna
Do you
go
wanna...
in.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
You choose.
That's
you can
it.
cut yours as
Can
well,
I cut?
please,
Let me just cut you right.
You know how they do on TV? Subsequently, we are on TV. They do this. And hey, come on.
Okay,
so presentation-wise, I'm going to start there. I'm going to give you in that
bread with your mayonnaise.
Okay, no, but here's the thing. So, right, check here.
You need gloves
I'm also gonna do
for
that,
the sandwich.
That's why. But remember, because I've got Gatsby culture in my head,
Okay,
I'll
got
give you the middle sticky.
Cut. And the middle part's my favorite. So I'm going to go in here. Presentation-wise, I'm going to go with Ewan's one for this one.
No, that's fine.
Do you know what I'm saying?
This is mayo forward. Remember.
Do you want a pair of gloves?
If it's mayonnaise, it's mayonnaise. Okay, you feel that? Hey, how beautiful is that?
Did you get some of the other ingredients apart from the mayonnaise?
Yes,
I do love a mayo. So I'm going to come around and I'm going to...
Please, I've got a mixture of some mayo and a little bit of mustard.
Yes, there we go. Look
Not
at all
overwhelming.
of those flavors.
See,
yes, it looks very compact, but you know, it also looks like the word you taught me earlier called tru. That's what it sounds like. Enjoy it. You will shoo until you are going blue in the face.
I'm going to go with Ewan's one for the win. Today, it's just more flavor, more things, but you know what? There's no such thing as going last. You just...
Call.
Second.
Carl.
I will not talk. This is a travesty. It is a match fixing. I am appalled by this. But it's okay. Because you can buy any Clover product and get ready to immerse yourself in the all jeu de France as you indulge in a beautiful, unforgettable rugby experience of a lifetime. Creamy and rich Clover's butter can add a luxurious touch to your baguette. It brings a smooth and velvety element to the bread. Clover offers a diverse selection of cheeses that cater to various tastes and preferences. Cheese is a perfect complement to a baguette, adding creamy texture and enhancing its flavor profile. We want to hear from you. So head to our socials and cast your vote for who you think did best over here, even though I know you and one. It's fine. So embark on a remarkable French adventure with Clover. Purchase any Clover product and seize the opportunity to witness the exhilarating clash between South Africa and Scotland in the vibrant stadiums of France. But wait, there's more. 5 lucky winners and their partners will embark on a cruise to the Mediterranean paradise of Ibiza, setting sail from the captivating port of Marseille. All you have to do is buy any Clover product and keep your till slip handy. Then dial *120 *560 hash and follow the prompts. It's that simple. Keep watching Expresso Daily to find out more. T's and C's can be found on the beautiful website clover.co.za. Magnifique. Merci.
Merci. How do you remember all of that?
I have no idea. It's like I'm reading it.
Oh, you can make my It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on S3. It's your Thursday morning. Now, the blessing and journey of being a father, who can adequately describe it? I mean, it is, to put it into words, I don't even know. Now, we are doing our absolute best this morning with our guests, discussing why fathers matter. And our next guests are two footballers and fathers, Bruce Naden and Devin Titus, who are changing the narrative of what fatherhood looks like around them. Thank you very much, gents, for coming around and chatting about this ahead of Father's Day. Lovely to have you. Devin, I want to chat to you first, my friend, proudly rocking that Stellenbosch FC label, man. Fatherhood for you, what did it previously look like? I mean, growing up for you?
At first, it was like, you have a father in your life, you know, some people don't. Luckily, I do, so I was very privileged to have my father. He's basically like my role model, you know. You have different role models in life, but my father was #1 for me. He's been my coach throughout my years, until the age of 13, I think. So he's been a very inspirational character in my life, you know.
And I'm sure that added a lot of value for you as a young man growing up, and that example that was set for you as well.
Yeah, you need good role models in your life, you know, and luckily I had my father, and I have different other people in my life, like my coaches, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm just privileged to have someone like him in my life, to be there every second of the day, to help me and guide me with everything I need, you know.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that we are shining that spotlight on fathers, and healthy fathers at that. We were speaking about the Heartline's Fathers Matters campaign. Why is this something that is important to you?
Yeah, when Bruce brought it into the group, we were all like, why should we do this? You know, we have better things to do. But when we first...
Honesty.
When we first saw what he was bringing to the table, you know, we were like, wow, there's more things to being a father, to being the role model to younger kids, you know. So we just took that opportunity, and we were all blessed to be in the presence of that and to learn from the fatherhood, you know, that he brought us.
And Bruce, it really feels like you are playing almost that fatherly figure on the field as well, with your players, and I can hear the way that Devin speaks about you as well. Is this something that you set out to do, or is it just something that, that is part of you?
I think I'm getting to the age where I might be a grandfather figure rather than a father figure, but no, I don't think I'd ever set out to do that. You know, you've just heard Devin. I would never want to be looking to replace somebody's father, but, you know, I know in my own life, as well as having the positive presence of my own father, along the way, there have been other men that have played a really positive role in my life in shaping the person that I've become. And I think we all need that. We need positive male and female role models in our lives, and certainly there'd be young people young footballers, young sports people, who probably have seen me playing that kind of role in their lives, but I would never set out to go, you know, I'm going to be this father figure in your life. I certainly want to live a life that's worthy of imitation.
Absolutely, and I think it comes down to what you were saying, mentorship. You know, you can take on a fatherly role as a mentor, but not in the sense of being a father, and I think that is important because, I mean, our kids are out, like you're saying, they're on the field, they're playing, and it is good to have somebody like yourself there to show how to react and how to go about things and how to, I think, conduct yourself as well. I mean, why do you feel, if we take a look at society today, and I said it earlier on, I do feel that, you know, for us to foster a healthy society, you need those important roles from both father and the womanly figure. But why is it especially important today, in the day and age we live in?
Well, I think if we look at South African society, you know, so many of our young people are growing up without the positive presence of a father or a grandfather or an uncle. And there are all myriad of reasons for that. And certainly that's a driving force for me because, you know, I've worked with young people in this country for 14 years and I see the father wound. I see the negative outcomes that often result from that. And, you know, one of the things that the Father Matters films picks up on is the important role that social fathers can play in the lives of children. You know, Devin's already mentioned coaches. It can be a coach. It can be a sports chaplain like myself. It could be, you know, it could be the CEO of the football club. It could be the youth worker. It could be the pastor, the community leader. I think there's a hunger within the heart of children growing up and young people that needs that positive male role model alongside the female. And I think that's really lacking and increasingly lacking in many of our communities and in many of our homes. And so that's certainly a driving force for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to applaud you for the work that you do and just for carrying yourself in such a manner that inspires young children as well. Devin, and for you, looking forward to the rest of your life, do you want to be a dad one day?
Of course I do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what is it? What is your outlook with regards to you being a father? What it is that you like to instill in your future kids?
I think I just want to instill that you should always work hard for what you want, you know. Me as an inspiration to them one day, hopefully I am. But I just want to be a role model to them and encourage them that life is not going to be easy. But we have to take it and we have to hard work for it to get to where we want to be. And for what we want to be, we have to do that. And to be when they get kids, they have to be what they want to be also. And they have to instill it in their kids.
Yeah, I think the most important point is for your children to know that that father is there, not only present, but emotionally so as well.
Yeah, and just to finish, you know, one of the things that is very clear with Devin already is that he backs that up with his actions. Nice. And I think we learn so much from what we see, not just from what we hear. You know, and I think that's self-evident in Devin's life. And my prayer for him is he'll carry on along that path and continue to grow to be the very best version of himself he can be.
Fantastic. Devin, thank you very much for joining. Bruce, thank you very much for joining. And once again, just for being that positive role model to these youngsters as well. I think it's absolutely vital. Now, remember, we are celebrating Youth Month and Father's Day with a rebroadcast of Heartline's unique short films on SABC2 on Saturday, the 1st, the 17th, and the 24th of June at 8:30 p.m. Very relatable stories, so make sure you tune in.
I love this dad talk. It's amazing. You know, Father's Day is coming up, and I feel like if you haven't got yourself a Father's Day gift yet, then you should be focusing in, because if not, you came to the right place. Woolies is making it easy to spoil fathers and father figures this year with their latest sleepwear items that'll keep them warm and cozy all season. Now we have stylist and blogger, somebody who literally has Mega in their name, Megan Pedro, is here to take us through the most comfortable spoils for dad. Now, let's talk about Papa. Because they say Papa wag for clothes, not yo. So that's how it goes. So tell me why sleepwear makes...
Nailed it.
You're welcome. Why does sleepwear make the best gift for a daddy?
I mean, honestly, I think that any gift,
Yeah.
right? As soon as you elevate a need that someone has, that's a great gift.
Yes. And so are you insinuating that daddies need to rest?
100%.
They work so hard.
Also, a dad is not going to buy themselves a good quality pajamas. I just feel like it's not something that, you know, you never see the dads in the sleepwear section. So this is the time for you to actually go in and spoil your dad.
I've actually never thought about that. Okay, now take us through the rail here, because we've got a variety of different items over here, from gowns and pants and tops. It looks so cool.
I mean,
so let's go.
Let's start with the
Let's see,
gowns.
I just want to find out which one I would most likely be in.
I mean, there's quite a selection.
Wow.
So it really is quite difficult to decide. But what I absolutely love about this, you have a hooded range and then you don't. So either way, you're winning, right? It is
Okay.
warm. I mean, feel how thick that is?
I would like to just... Okay, yes, please. Yes.
Okay, I have to kind of pry
Sorry,
these
okay,
out.
yeah, because okay, well, there's a nice helpful hint.
One of my big shopping
Yes.
tips is that you stick within a color palette, because then I feel like you can mix and match different sets really easily. What is so great about, I mean, Woolies has already done it for you. You can
Okay.
see that there's about 4 or 5 specific primary colors here that literally, you know, just mix and match through everything. So what's so great is you start with a basic like this, non-printed tee. You can really get away with kind of pairing this even into your loungewear. You know, this doesn't actually just have to go
And
sleepwear.
this color, what do you call this? Like a
Ooh.
daddy tan?
A mocha.
Mocha daddy.
I actually call this a claim.
A clem.
This is a claim.
So that's a clem? Right. Yeah, okay.
Then we go for the fun prints.
Okay, that's
I mean,
cool.
this is proper. Look at this one, okay? World champion of the dad joke. It has to be.
I love how these things have printed on them the truth.
Yes, yes. Oh, 100%.
Yes.
But you know, in a cute way. Again, the truth.
The truth, thank you.
Best dad ever.
That's
you see?
correct. Don't
And
you
then
forget it.
what's so great is that this comes as a set. So if you really don't want to think about it, this already comes on the hanger.
I'd wear that out, honestly.
Okay.
I am that one. Yeah, I'll wear it out. I'd totally wear that out.
Post-pandemic,
Do you
it lets
understand?
people
No one
do what
cares,
they want.
really.
Sure.
Yeah.
So then, good thing that we have such a selection of different kind of, you know, shapes and prints. on everything. And what I love is the cuff detail, because the cuff detail means that you can slide it right into your footwear without even thinking about it.
That's cool, especially if you're going out with it.
So all of them are cuffs, and then feel this. Like actually.
Okay, that's it. What is this?
It's the softest
What
cotton.
is this?
It is beautiful. No, it is unbelievably soft, okay?
What is that material?
Again, yeah, beautiful cotton.
That is so
what
nice.
is so great is that, I mean, again, Woolies quality, you can see everything just pairs so beautifully together. And then, instead of just seeing it on the rail, let's see it in person.
Okay, yes. Do you have models?
Yes, we do.
Oh, let's do it.
Hello.
Yes, call upon the models. Bring them in. Look at this. This see me rolling.
I mean,
they hate it.
Also, what is great about this, I've showed you a whole lot of long sleeve t-shirts.
Yeah.
That is a short sleeve t-shirt. And you know, some dads don't like to sleep in a long sleeve.
All right.
So that's a great way to kind of bring in that beautiful color. And then also the hooded gown.
That's it. And you can see this particular model is just ready, you know, dadding out proper. See, when those hands are there, then you know dad wants coffee. That's like the universal sign that daddy wants coffee. He's not going to make it himself. Daddy, you can feel her.
I almost caught him sleeping in the corner in this. It's that comfy. But actually, we've managed to give him a bit of coffee, so he's good. But if
the hoodie's coming on.
The hoodie, right?
Oh, well, Dad just became a boxing champ. Because the thing is, he couldn't do it in his... There we go, there we go. Yes, Daddy. That's it.
And you wouldn't be a boxing champ without the right footwear, I suppose, right? So we're going straight down there. Those are your booties. So we've got different styles. So we've got your bootie style, which goes up to your ankle, and then we've got your mule style, which is just a classic chic look.
Thank you, Dad. Yo, this is looking good. I've heard about a 30% off thing. What's happening? Are we getting 30% off online?
Yes. So you don't even have to get off your couch to even get this. So footwear, gowns, sleepwear. You do not even have to get out into the cold to go and make your Father's Day wish. And then add these to your cart because
you got stuff my size here. Oh, thank goodness.
Okay, so that's yours. That's your one. And there you go. Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm happy here. It's going to be, it might be a bit loose, but this might work nicely for me. Okay, cool. And this is the, oh, yes, cereal, sleigh, cool dad. I love the dad jokes out already, hey?
Oh, it's great.
You know?
It's great.
Do you know what tired footwear says? Shoo. Just sitting it. That's starting early today. Yes, it is.
Where's the dad joke?
That's it.
Where's it?
Oh, I love that. I can't wait. Honestly, it's going to be the best. Thank you for this. Can I?
You can. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm going to hold it here. Well, and the thing is, this is practical for Dad's Day because you also want to make sure that people understand what the truth is. The truth is that you are the best dad. Best dad jokes and seriously cool dad as well.
That
which is
one,
fantastic.
you're better together.
Oh, yes, we are. And we are better together. This is the best thing. Thank you. You are such an amazing style expert. And you know what? Comfort is king. So spoil dad with a gift of comfort. Shop online at Woolworths and get 30% off men's sleepwear, slippers and gowns. And this offer is valid until the 14th of June, online only. Go grab it and do something amazing for dad. Because remember, Papa wag for clothes.
To join FAS, Fathers Against Socks, SMS the number on your screen.
SMS is charged at 75 Rand.
What's supposed to tell her that?
Are you the face? We're looking for 3 fabulous women to be the face of Gynagard. Win a Fiat 500. 50,000 Rand cash, CoverGirl status, and so much more. To enter, buy and try any Gynagard product and tell us about it at faceofgynagard.co.za. You could be the one.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on S3. And what a morning it has been, but we are not done yet. For one last performance, Corniel Miller is standing by with a song titled Feeling Good. Corniel, thank you very much for joining us. The stage is yours, my friend. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. Here's a new day, here's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Oh, blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean, oh. Sleep in peace when day is done, and this old world is a new world, and a bold world. I am feeling good. Feeling so good. Feeling so good.
Yo, your Feel Good Breakfast Show! Yes! Amazing stuff. Have a beautiful day. Don't forget tickets to Twicket. Get the man's show, 12th to 17 June later. Have a beautiful morning.
Bye.
Another Feel Good production.